call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just to let you know, I've asked the vice chair to run the meeting today because I've been traveling. I've been away for 2 weeks and I was up since 4 this morning, boats, planes, and trains. So I've just asked her to conduct the meeting for tonight, okay?
Public comment, whoever is first. Grab the sheet.
Would you like me to grab it for you? Okay. I'm Donovan, 45 Chase Road.
Yep.
So my public comment today really has to do with the personnel policy. I made copies for you all, so if you wanted to take one and pass it around. These are just some sections that I noted and some corresponding documents that I had for my reasons for noting things. So I am concerned that this is a completely different document than that was on the October agenda on the attached document. So it seems like it was changed a lot. So one of the things I just wanted to note was the definition for exempt employees, which I'm very excited to see it was there, but it does call us, the administrative staff, highly compensated employees, which is an actual designation that we don't fit under the Fair Labor Standards Act. And if that were the case, you would have to increase the budget by over $228,000 just to make us highly compensated. So that it's just a word choice, but it is an actual like designation. So I would just be cautious looking at this document. There was 105 instances of grammatic or format errors and some word choice. Another section was in the performance plan that per state law and the administrative codes that you do need to have any performance plan and like payment and pay scale things in writing, so you just don't have the percentages like when you have like the different levels of what each thing would be. So I just think that this is premature to bring tonight, and it should honestly go back to subcommittee before being evaluated, and I would appreciate the opportunity to have a staff member involved like it was in 2024, just to have some of this open dialogue and then consider bringing it back to the lawyer before it comes before the board.
What page is it notated that you're highly compensated? What page is that?
So it's in the definitions on page 4, exempt employees. It says these highly compensated employees.
Okay.
I would just, that's either change the definition, but I just, because there are some things that could be considered interpreted different ways, that the lawyer should probably look at it again, but I do think there is cause for going to subcommittee first.
And could you tell me the where you referenced the website that you referenced?
Oh, sure. I actually gave you copies of
in
it
the
in
back
there.
of the
It is.
That's in the back of the packet. Okay.
In the packet. So
Great.
that anything
That's
that
fine.
I referenced, I did give you information.
Just the
But
United
it was
States
either the
ones.
wage and hour division or direct RSAs. And I actually contacted the wage and hour division and have an email there with where they said to find some of the information.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Colleen?
Colleen Majors, library staff. I'm coming to this board meeting concerned, frustrated, and stressed. First, I was upset with the way that Donna was treated at the October 8th meeting. Donna is the assistant director here, and as a part of the bylaw discussion, the chair said the intent was to remove Donna from being a part of the meetings. When asked for reasoning, it was stated because of the budget. With all due respect, Donna is a valuable staff member, not a budget line item or a dollar amount. You desperately need her knowledge and expertise at this table, and I believe removing Donna would be a huge mistake and a great liability to this current board. Second, the treasurer's report. A draft of the treasurer's report from April through June went in Jan's mailbox on July 16th, 16 weeks ago. Since then, the board has had 8 scheduled meetings without the report even appearing once on the agenda. This is fiscally irresponsible. Also, a draft of the next report for July through September was placed in Jan's mailbox. That is 6 months worth of financial data from 2 separate fiscal years that has not been presented to the board. Because of the board's inaction, I have been delayed by months in preparing the annual report. Lastly, I'm very stressed because I'm no longer able to keep accurate financial records. The new book account was opened at TD Bank, and $10,000 from the trustees account was used to open that account. We have asked for a deposit receipt or documentation so we can add it to the check register, but none has been provided. Checks were ordered, however, we do not have any information to confirm the accuracy of the checks. I verified address information, looked up bank routing information, but cannot confirm the account number. Jan is now verifying and bringing deposits to the bank. When Jan verified the amounts and put the grand total on the cover sheet, it did not match the total on the deposit slips that I prepared, or the amount on the cover sheet that Donna prepared. Jan requested the first half of the book budget with Justin's help. However, had Jan asked library staff, she would have gotten a more accurate number. We would have given Jan the number that Justin gave, but also included everything that was currently in process. So in reality, that check should have been for a lesser amount due to items already in process. The book budget check was then deposited into the trustees account instead of the book account, and then Jan wrote a check back to the book account. I know the board is trying to follow the RSAs and law. However, in an attempt to do so, the board has created disorder rather than order, created a difficult work environment rather than one of collaboration, and has greatly impacted the ability to effectively keep accurate financial records. And I would argue that this is not the intent of the law.
I'm sorry, before we move to another person, Jan, I really need you to stop humming. They're talking to us, it's important, and I'm taking notes, and I cannot
I'm taking
hear
notes
them.
too.
But you're humming through what they're saying, so I don't know that you're taking notes on their words, because I can't hear them.
I am taking notes on
Okay,
the words.
I'm asking you to
Ladies,
stop
ladies,
humming,
I-
please.
Okay.
I'm sorry, ladies.
Just
This
sit
is
someplace
public
then.
comment time,
Okay.
okay? So let's
I just need
let
you
the
to stop
public
humming.
comment,
I've
okay?
asked so many times.
Thank you. Next. Are we all
No, it's
done? Okay.
Donna Plant, Assistant Library Director. I just wanted to speak on the personnel policy as well, that I'm really disappointed in the draft that was brought forward for this meeting, with no staff input, not even from Erin. It directly, I don't know how many times I can say that it directly impacts staff, and by doing it this way, you're showing us that you don't care, which is a very hard thing to swallow as an employee, especially very loyal employees. So from what I gathered from the draft, I don't even know your intent in the changes you've made. But what I'm guessing is the intent is that you don't want to be liable monetarily for the benefits that you give to the staff, including merit and COLA. So if you have a bad budget year, I'm guessing you want to be able to have an out, essentially, that you don't have to provide those benefits. Again, this is my guess because no one has shared any intent regarding the changes in the policy. If that is in fact your intent, I would strongly suggest that instead of all the cuts you've made, you look at other libraries' personnel policies, because there is such a thing as a disclaimer that is in some other library policies. This is one from our consortium, Goffstown Public Library. In their purpose statements, they specifically say that the manual is intended to provide guidance on the policies and procedures that apply to all employees. It may be revised at any time by the Library Board of Trustees. None of the benefits listed are contractual in nature and do not guarantee continuance of said benefits. I'm pretty sure if that is your intent, that doing something as simple as adding that statement to our existing policy without further changing it would be all you need to do.
So I just want to share that. Thank you.
Thanks, Donna.
Next.
Megan?
All right, Megan Thompson, 2 Suffrage Drive. I saw that a discussion of staff gifts is on the agenda tonight, and I'm encouraging the trustees to give the staff the gift of respect this holiday season and respond to their vote of no confidence in this board. In their announcement of the no confidence vote, the library staff asked for 8 steps toward reconciliation, including mediation, giving the staff the respect of responding to the no confidence letter, valuing their feedback, and making a public commitment to improving the board's stewardship of the library is an important staff gift. Any discussion about a staff gift tonight that does not reflect that reality is a misguided attempt at showing the staff appreciation for all that they have done for Londonderry over the past year. Staff members submitted their requests for improved actions by the board in good faith, and they have not been met with that same respect and courtesy from this board. People in Londonderry, myself included, support the library staff. We all deserve to have a board of trustees that will listen to feedback and take it seriously. That level of respect is a gift the trustees could offer to the entire Londonderry community. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, all set?
I'm sorry, that was all that signed up, right?
Yep.
Yep, okay, great, okay.
We, in the interest of some time, we did decide to move our non-public session up this evening. So we're gonna do that next. So that we're gonna ask you guys all to leave, unfortunately, but then we're going to have you guys come back. So can I get a motion to go into non-public session?
Yeah, what do we need?
You live in RSA.
Yeah,
Nancy,
Madam Vice, I would make a motion that we move into non-public under RSA 91-A:311 parentheses A and RSA 91-A:311 parentheses B.
Second?
Second.
Second? Okay. Roll call, roll call, we started.
So I think we have to say it is 91-A:3 Roman numeral 2 or 2A, not 11, but
Would you like me to repeat that?
just for the record, yeah.
Actually, you know what, why don't you go ahead and do it?
All right. Well, actually, why are we changing the schedule?
We just wanted to move up a review. To have
Okay.
it done towards the beginning of the meeting.
All right. Then I'll make a motion that we go into non-public under New Hampshire RSA 91-A, 2A, and 2B. A:3, 2A, and 2B.
Second?
Actually, I think it's 3.
:3, 2A, and 2B.
Correct. That wasn't what you said.
Okay, Nancy, I'll start at you instead. Roll call.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Okay.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Marco, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Can I get a motion to seal the non-public minutes? Jan?
I make a motion to seal the minutes from the most recent meeting.
Second.
How long would you like to seal them for?
Oh, I'd like to seal them for 5 years.
Okay. All right. Nancy, roll call.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Yes, Liz Thomas.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Yes, Beth Marco.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Okay. So we have a lot of meeting minutes to review.
We gotta go back into public.
Oh, didn't we already go back into public?
That was the
Not technically, but
Oh,
Okay.
well then,
Okay. Okay. Beth,
one real head
I'd like to make a motion to go into public.
go back into public.
Yes.
Second.
Okay.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Marco, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Okay.
Now we have to seal them. So I'd like to make a motion to seal them. I'm sorry, just have to do it in that order.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to seal the minutes for 5 years.
Nancy, will you still second that one?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Nancy, yes.
Nancy, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Marco, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Okay. We have a slate of minutes, and we had several times mentioned that we'd like to make sure they were reviewed ahead of time, so if there's any issues or concerns that we can take care of them quickly. We have a lot of different styles in them, but we are hopeful that we're moving to a more streamlined amount of information being shared, since we also have the recording as the record. So were there any concerns? Do we want to just go date by date?
Yes, please.
Okay. Did anyone have any concerns for the May 7th minutes?
I'm asking that we defer that one because Christine stated that we needed to go into non-public, that there was errors in. So
There's errors in the non-public, right?
yeah.
So we're voting for
Oh,
this.
you-
This is the public.
Oh, okay. We didn't.
There's no non-public ones on this one, so this is just public minutes.
Okay, good.
So,
All right.
okay,
Fine.
okay. Any concerns about May 7th?
Yes, Maura.
So this particular set of minutes was done by the recording secretary, and there were some issues with people who are identified. I know that it was pointed out prior, but we didn't have a way of making corrections, so how are we addressing that?
We can add an addendum to the minutes.
Okay, because there are a number of things like people being misidentified, and I think I said something on line 119 was not correct, and 294, what resident was that? And I think they misspelled Erica Lowey's name, so there were a few corrections
Okay,
on this.
why don't we go exactly through your corrections, okay? And we will submit them to be corrected.
There's no one to submit them to,
Oh,
so
no.
I think we should ask Moira, would you be willing for this set to make the addendum that would go onto it?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think we're gonna have to be flexible in order to get this done.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And did anyone else? Yes.
Donna?
I just wanted to note that the Word document was sent from the recording secretary to Erin, me, and I think Liz.
So we have
so
a Word
there
document.
is a Word document.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So can we
So it could be revised.
Yes, it can be. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So
news.
I can send that, someone can send that
Perfect.
to Maura and she can make
Okay.
those updates.
Great.
Moira, would you do that one for this one?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nancy?
So in the May 7th, yes, in the May 7th meeting minutes on line 176, my name is Hendricks and not Hendrickson. That's a lovely name, it's just not my name.
Maura, since you're making the corrections, when you get the document, can you just correct the name and the spelling on it?
Yeah, I think she brought that up before as
Yeah,
well.
and I
Okay,
think
thank you.
there's a couple other names, but I think you already know them, right? Other name, Maria and stuff. Maria. Okay. All right, anything else, since we have a lot of minutes to go through?
What were the other numbers that you said you had problems with?
119.
Yep. 270 something. What you said, 217.
So the corrections will be made by Maura, then forwarded to everyone, and then we'll vote at the next meeting to accept them, correct?
Well, can't we just accept them
Can we
as
accept
correction,
them
as
with the
corrected?
corrections?
Yeah, we could,
Yeah.
with the,
With-
the
instead of
so
going
that
for
those
another vote
corrections be
for them.
made.
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Jan, you wanna make a motion?
I think Nancy, you still checking that?
No, I'm good.
You're all set? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the May 7th minutes with the corrections from Maura and from Nancy.
Second.
Okay.
Roll call.
Roll call, Nancy?
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Seth Markle, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes?
Maura Ryan, no.
Okay. Motion passes.
Okay, May 20th.
So you had asked, does anybody recall which meeting it was that, oh gosh, help me out, our liaison, Mr. Bouchard was here and was correcting us that we had indicated that his wife works at the library, but she does not, and he rather indignantly suggested that we change that in the minutes, so
I think that's a later one.
is that
I
later?
think it's
Okay.
July, but
Okay,
I'm not.
all right, so
I
it's not
think-
this one, okay.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
All right.
That was the only, there's, I see a couple names that need to be fixed in this one. I could fix, as right, your name is spelled wrong, but I know I can spell your name.
A-Z-R-A.
Yeah. What number Bancroft Road do you live at?
17.
Okay, just so it's in the record. Okay.
These are the May 20th minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're not, anything else that were in the May 20th minutes?
I think 102 is Dana Villanueva too, with no last name.
Yeah. I can check the video too.
So Helen,
I will fix this one.
Okay.
Do you need us to send you also if we have it?
I might have it. If not, I'll reach out to you guys.
Okay.
Oh, in line 50, it says I didn't vote, but I actually abstained because I missed the first couple of minutes of the meeting.
Which line number?
50.
Okay. And I'm sorry, say that again. Use.
I missed the first couple of minutes of the meeting, so I abstained.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Okay to vote to accept the 20th on the
So-
conditions of the names and things being fixed.
So moved.
Okay.
second.
Nance.
Nancy?
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Merkel, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Okay, and Helen will be making those
Yep.
changes. Okay.
Okay. June 4th.
Okay, I had a couple on this one too.
Okay.
I think we need to clarify line 169, the bylaws vote, because it doesn't make sense.
The title, the subtitle, like the way it's written.
The way it was written, it's confusing because it's not clear what you're voting on. Are you looking at June 4?
This is June 14th.
4.
I understand.
So do you wanna just make it like bylaws, not review and possible acceptance?
Well, if that's what the agenda said, I think that's what it has to say.
Yeah.
I also had line 137, status of spreadsheet for contracts. I think I have here 186, 176, change Hendricks into Hendricks again. And 202 and 205, and I'm not sure what the issue was with those. But
202 and 205.
mm-hmm.
Well, it actually has the things that we just fixed the May 20th, but that for whatever reason. Well, look at that. It says we already approved the 20th, you guys.
Okay.
Never mind. Oh, I'm off the hook then. I don't have to fix anything.
Okay, so we're not making any changes?
Well, no, because the June 4th one says we already voted on May 20th. I don't know why
Oh,
May
okay.
20th was looped into that for some
Oh,
reason.
well then,
So we're rescinding that motion?
so we don't have to,
Yes.
we don't have to
Rescind that
vote on
motion.
that.
No, well, now this is June 4th, so
Okay,
so we're all set. We already voted on one, but on the June 4th one, unless we check.
I think we talked about it, but I don't think it ever.
does anyone have any changes for June 4th?
Which one are you on at this point?
I'm sorry,
We're still on June 4th.
June 4th, okay.
we're June 4th,
Yeah.
yeah.
My last name's wrong, but I'm pretty bad.
Okay. Do you want us to fix it?
Is anything else being changed on it?
Where are you on the
It
list?
says the only thing. It says Katie Holland. My last name's Collins.
What line is that?
Public comment.
Can
Sorry,
you just-
31.
Can you just spell it for us, please?
Collins.
Collins.
That's the only thing changing. I can pretend I'm Kate Holland.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
We're a library, we wanna get it right.
This is also by the recording secretary, so we should have this document also, right? Okay. I'll fix this bylaws part, Moira, so it looks better or makes more sense. I'll match it back up, or I'll check the video. Is that okay? And then other than that, are we good with everything else?
I did also have line 137. I did have a replicative Hendrickson to Hendricks.
Okay. What was in 137?
137, I have something about this, a spreadsheet.
It says Director Matlin is compiling a spreadsheet of contracts and the renewal dates. That's what the minutes say.
Oh, okay, I think she gave a status or something like that, and I said I think it has to be in there.
Okay, so that one's all set, right?
Okay. Donna?
It looks like my name was also
Okay.
to be corrected on line 177. It says no plant.
It's your alias.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Motion to accept June 4th with these fixes.
Make a motion.
Miss Jan.
Second.
Thank you.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Merkley, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
All right. June 14th. Bastille Day. These minutes were done January by you?
No, by me.
By you. Okay. Thank you, Beth.
I think you do now by law have to put who did the minutes?
Yeah, I
Okay.
goofed on that one.
That's okay. I guess you just put it, I don't know if there's a location.
We can
but you
add
just
it.
Put it at the
yeah.
end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's an easy fix. Thank you, Erin. Okay, anything else? Good, on June 14th?
Just a quick, there's a capital L on, I don't know what page it is, but it's one, the second page, under town clerk where it says Sherry Farrell, there's just a capital L, but that's no big deal. I didn't know how picky we were being with that stuff. Under town clerk, where it says town clerk.
So she only has one L. Oh, no, yeah, I got it.
Gina?
Can we make a motion to make the recordings, the video recordings, the official recording of the official, they're not the minutes, but the official presentation of the meeting, so that if anybody doesn't, is confused about the summary, they can go to the recording of that day, and because that'll be more accurate than summaries that we're supposed to have in our minutes. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do think we're doing double the work now because
Yeah.
and I do think it's something to consider. And I was nervous tonight about going through all these things and nitpicking everything and spending this much time on it, so I kind of agree. But I also understand that people want the record of this to show accuracy.
Right, well, let's say
I'm with you.
what they talked about originally was that we had way too long minutes.
Right.
And it's not just now, I mean, we've had them in the past, but we still have too long a minutes that they're supposed to be more summary. And since we don't seem to get to that, that maybe, if there's something somebody's concerned about, that they could go and listen to
Is there
them.
something in this set of minutes that concerns you?
No, I'm just concerned about all the minutes that we have, 8 or 9 pages and.
Because this is the set of minutes that was posted publicly and then was removed. And then nobody could get a response as to why our chair had taken the minutes down. So I was wondering if this particular set of minutes had a connection with that request.
No, I think the point that everyone's saying is that, you know, if we say that the minutes, the official minutes of the meeting is, you know, the recorded
Yeah.
minutes.
No, I get that. It's
Yeah.
just many times, you know, it was brought up by myself, by the public. Why was this particular draft put on the website and the links and then removed shortly after? And I never got a response from you about why you had asked to have that removed. So I was just wondering if any of that had to do with this request to go to video feed instead of recorded minutes. But just wondering about the coincidence.
I think it might just be a coincidence.
No.
I don't think so, but
Okay, I apologize.
yeah, no, that's okay. I just don't
I
think
know.
I
Okay.
think there is a connection, but
I remember what she's talking about. I think it was because of when Richard Belinsky spoke, he spoke for the whole 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it was at that point, and got 2 lines, and then other people spoke for the same amount of time and got 4 or 5 lines.
yeah, no, but that wasn't the concern. The minutes were up and then they were pulled down, which is not legal. And I've asked the chair many times, the public's asked the chair many times, Richard asked many times, why did it get pulled off the public access? So just, I wanted to attach that because that's a concern, but.
Wait, the video got pulled off the public access? Is
No,
that what you're saying?
the actual minutes that were posted were up and then they were
Draft.
pulled at the request of the
I do
chair.
think moving forward, and
Yeah.
it was recommended to us, and not saying mine are great, but when we get to August 6th, I streamlined them a lot,
Mhm.
and using my method of just trying to keep track of what we voted on and very, very limited amount of information,
Mhm.
because just to keep things moving.
Yeah, and I like to keep things moving too.
Yeah.
I just
I
want it
know.
on record,
I
you know,
agree.
on video record that minutes were put up and then
Yeah.
taken down.
But there is a problem with the minutes as far as the amount of summary that was done on some folks and not on others.
And that's fine.
Politically, they seem to be in opposing people.
Okay, I just wanted
Do
to.
you want that changed, or can
Well,
we?
I'm just wondering, that's the only comment that I
That's
have
what you're
about that.
Okay. Laura, anything?
And again, I think now we've been
I just
advised
wanted
that we
to
should
catch things.
downsize the comments, basically give the name and the general, you know, discussed, you know, the bylaws, or, you know, that something general about what it was, you know what I mean?
Summary.
As opposed to putting like someone's 5-minute statement, and other people only get, you know, a
Yeah,
couple
I don't think that
words.
was the problem, but yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Donna?
Yes, Donna?
I just wanted to know if the board is going to entertain a motion regarding making the reporting the official minutes. I would recommend checking the RSAs because I do believe there's a requirement that the text minutes
I think it needs to be too. I
are
agree with
required
you.
as your minutes.
Yeah, I believe that you still need, you know, a published text. You know, so I don't think that we can cut that out. We might cut the size of the text again. But yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jan.
Yeah, no, it was the same thing. It was, you know, I think we still have to have written minutes.
Yes.
But if someone has a concern that they don't
details.
see the detail,
They
that they
can
can
look
go
to
to the
them.
video.
Yeah.
And we can put a statement like that at the end of the minutes.
Maybe something to explore for the future.
More?
Well, I haven't used this particular AI, but I've used others. How is this AI working as far as doing meeting minutes?
It first comes as a summary, and you have to say, I want minutes. And then you say, I want minutes with the detail of the people that spoke and what time it was. I mean, you have to give it.
You have to walk it
tell
to
it what you want, and then it'll change it to that.
Okay.
So I couldn't figure out how to make it do that though.
The lines.
The lines, but so it's pretty straightforward. However, the town has Chat GPT. What?
Chat BT.
Okay, whatever it is. GPT. But they said they would get us a license for that. So, because that's what they're all using, quote unquote. So, I don't know.
Okay. Motion to accept the June 14th minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Laura, more discussion, or?
There was only one thing I had noted,
Okay.
that on the bottom of page 1, there was a misspelled name also.
Page one.
What's the name? Oh, DeRosa? Is that the name?
Deb, yeah.
Yeah. I knew I butchered that one.
Okay. Nancy, roll call.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Miracle, yes?
Jen McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Okay, the next set is done by Christine, and there's a small addendum at the end that were done by me because some of you guys stepped out at part of the meeting, so I did part of the minutes. This is the one I think that Councilor Bouchard was speaking about. I had written it down on something else and now I couldn't find it, but I know that towards the end there is kind of an odd statement at the very end on line 407. It said that he, Dan Bouchard, claims trustees are putting out misinformation. That seemed a little scary to write in minutes like that. So I don't know if we need to check the video or what we need to do for that, but
I would like to suggest that for that statement that we state that he wanted to say that his wife does not work for the library. That's what he said.
Is that what it was? That's
Yeah,
what
he said that.
that
some
makes
of
me
us
feel
said
better,
that.
Jan, because
Yeah.
the way it's written
Yeah.
sounded like something else.
Yeah,
like
he
that.
said that his wife did not work at the
Okay.
library.
Okay. Right. So we can,
And she doesn't, so that makes sense. We
Right.
just change it to that.
yeah, okay,
It sounds less scary.
thank you. That's exactly what Nancy, you were talking about before.
Yeah.
Um,
It'd be quite animated.
I don't remember if Christina's ever sent us the doc, but we can just send this to her, the changes to her, and she can completely update them. On page 1, the line 9, the subtitle to it that says filling a vacant position on a library board, I wasn't quite, the way it kind of, I think she's talking about you, Beth, changing being secretary, but the way
Sorry,
it
where
works.
are we?
I'm on, at line 9, I felt like it
Okay.
sounded
Oh,
a
yeah,
little bit more dramatic
Yeah.
than it needed to. It sounded like someone was leaving
Yeah.
the board altogether.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know if you wanna say library board, what word I wanna use, but, or the secretary, filling the
A
vacant
role on the-
secretary role.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Erin?
Can I just make a recommendation to the board? You can do what you want with it, to anything like those headings should match the agenda, so when someone's
Right.
reading the minutes, they're aware of what area they were speaking to. So if there is a heading like that, it should match a heading that's being spoken about on the agenda, so that it goes together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then it's easy for someone to follow along if they want to watch the video and read the book.
Okay.
Helen?
Nancy?
So, on line 7, my name needs to be corrected again.
Okay.
I gotta tell you, I don't know why Hendricks is such a hard name. And then again, on line 218, I'd like my name corrected again. There's no apostrophe in Hendricks.
Christmas card pet peeve, yes.
And that's all I found
Okay.
so far.
All right, Erin?
I believe I was at.
I found
Oh,
Donna's
no,
name
I was
as
not at
well.
this meeting. I think it should be mentioned what staff was at this meeting.
Okay, I agree. Okay, so I'll add that to the top. Staff in attendance, it was Donna and Megan,
Megan.
right? Okay. Okay.
And we might actually wanna agree, go back to line 12 where it said trustee Morocco agreed to continue to be secretary. And that was secretary, you know, it was like it wasn't the recording secretary, it was more like the official title.
Right, okay. Do we write official or secretary of
Like
record or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Donna?
I just wanted to correct a staff member's name
Yep.
on line 186. It's Nick Marr, M-A-H-E-R.
I got your name fixed on 201 as well.
Yeah, there were a couple times that you was missing on my list.
Maher. Maura.
You got a spelling error on 265. It should be Y instead of way, and my name is misspelled in line 6 also.
And where's your name, Maura, on this?
Line 6.
On the first page? Line 6?
Mhm.
No.
And what was the other 269?
265.
265.
Thank you. So that's, I mean, the other thing I was saying about not having every detail in here, it cuts down spelling mistakes. Donna?
Yes.
275, it mentions you by name, Helen, and I think usually we use last names.
Right, it says just Helen.
So if you want to change that,
Yeah, that
and
should
then
be consistent.
276, there's the word quals, which I think should be qualifications.
Which line again, please?
276.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Jen?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes for July 9th with those changes as we have.
And we're gonna ask Christine to do them since she wrote them, and if that isn't possible, maybe we can find out and figure out updating it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Rocco, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Do we need to vote on my separate piece? They're posted together on the website. I don't know if
I think it's just, I think it's fine.
I'll do whatever you guys want.
I don't think that's
We're good?
I would just like to have it state why we recused ourselves. So, that my in particular was that it was illegal for us to have the public meeting. So it was not something within the RSAs for us to be doing an employee's review in public. So that's why I objected and left the meeting, but then I was told I had to recuse myself.
Okay, I updated that, so I can fix it. Okay. We accept my additional minutes for July 9th. Donna?
I just wanted to know, and I don't know that you have the info to add at this point. I might, if I look back at my notes, but usually when trustees leave the meeting, the time has to be recorded.
yeah.
So I can look back at what I have
Okay.
too if you want.
I probably don't, and I've run into trouble when I try to figure it out in the video. It hasn't worked out as well for me. Then if you come across it, if not,
Okay.
Nancy, roll call for this one.
Nancy Hendricks,
Or
yes.
actually, I don't think we have a motion. Motion to accept my extra July 9th minutes.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
thank you.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Rocco, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan abstained because I wasn't there.
Okay.
Minutes.
Okay. 7:19. Jan, I think. Maybe you did do these minutes.
I don't think so.
It says Jan has volunteered to take the minutes.
Did it?
It
Okay.
does.
Well, I guess it was me then.
It's a fun game. You can figure out which font it is and who it belongs to. The long this was a non-public, so there isn't. It's anyway.
This is 719.
Yep.
So.
Erin.
I would like staff names to be added.
Okay.
I think it was me and Megan.
I'm not 100% sure.
We can check the video.
No one was at this meeting? No staff was at this meeting?
Was it the
It was a special
That
meeting.
was the alternate one that no one was at.
Oh, then don't add staff.
That was the alternate one that nobody was at.
Also, can I just, there's added things for every name that Jan wrote, a reason why they picked the name, but that didn't actually happen in the meeting. You just submitted names, that was it.
No, I thought you came to this one, cause we were asking Erin if you,
No, you couldn't.
you were upset.
That was on the Saturday,
That's
the
why
19th.
Richard had to record it.
And
Yes.
Aaron did make herself
Yeah.
available and came to the
Yeah,
meeting,
cause we had
but
asked.
no
if
one
you-
else came.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So that's just me.
Yes.
No, no,
it's
that
just-
was, that was
No,
the
I know.
6:14 meeting
No,
was
it's a
on
different one.
Saturday.
oh, that's
Oh.
6:14, oh, okay.
This is a different one. We can check the video.
Yeah, and I can cross out the stuff, is what you're saying.
Yeah, Jan, do you mind just double
No,
checking the
that's
video?
not a problem.
Thank you.
So, where we make our motion to go into non-public, my name is misspelled again. This one is good though, this is Hendrix. I'm not related to Jimi Hendrix.
Wow,
Could be fun if
cool.
you were.
It could be.
My computer just thought you were.
Same last name, different talents.
Donna?
The, when you go into non-public, the specific RSA was not cited, it just says under 91A.
Can we remove the 5th page that just says the meeting being recorded pledge? I don't know why that's there.
I didn't see that. That may.
Meeting being recorded pledge. That is weird. No idea. Sure. Sure. That's weird. No, spelled right on the last page.
I'm not even
I
gonna
did
tell
note
you
that.
the many creative culinary spellings we have in here, but it's my husband's last name, so we'll just proceed. Any motion to accept these minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second, oh, go ahead, Beth. I should not be seconding that.
Beth Marker, second.
Nancy?
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Marker, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Alright, we're getting there. That's 6. I rewatched the 8-6 meeting on vacation in a hotel room. You will know. Well, my family was out enjoying. I rewatched it to make sure I did my notes correctly. So hopefully we don't find a lot of mistakes.
Was this one that ended at midnight?
They all end at midnight.
Now,
Also, when the revisions
I
are
don't
made.
have the time on it, so that's not good.
When the revisions are made, we have to remove the draft
Yeah.
from them,
Yeah.
just for anybody making revisions.
I bet this one did end at midnight, because we went into non-public at 11:01.
Another time, so I don't know if you have it, but there's no adjourn time.
I know. I think that's the one I asked you to write, emailed you guys and said I don't think, for some reason I didn't write it down that night.
I was not present at this meeting.
Okay.
That was me and Maggie.
Yeah. I'll go back and double check my notes.
Well, there's a motion down here by Beth Morocco to leave non-public at 11:30.
So we must have gone into it before then.
We did, we went into non-public at 11:01.
So it was just, it probably was close to midnight, would be my guess.
But we did have some public comment. So I'm gonna bet it's closer to midnight, yeah. I can double check that too.
All right, I will. Motion to accept the 8-6 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Nancy?
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Okay. Minutes are done. Erin?
I would ask that any changes to these minutes please be sent to both Donna and I so they can be put on the website and not as drafts, please.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good request.
All right, Erin, we have some contract approvals that need to be done.
Yes.
So,
Hold on, let me just get my so there's, I don't know if the board wants to approve them as a whole or each individual.
I think they should be approved separately.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll do the first one. This is the renewal contract for, well, actually, the next two are for the same Park Street Foundation. The first one is movie licensing. So this is a license that we use. It's through Swank Movie Licensing. It's a license that gives us the ability to show our Library After Dark, mostly that's when we do it. Movies, not meeting minutes, sorry. Movies. You can't just show movies, you have to have a license in order to do it, so this gives us that ability to do that.
So for $389, we get several viewings.
We get, the
year.
amount of movies that we can watch are quite extensive.
That's what
and they range from
yeah.
children's to adult, so it really gives us a wide range of being able to either, you know, at the last minute or whatever it is, to provide a movie for the public to view. And it's, excuse me, it's quite popular.
I was gonna make a motion if you, are you done?
Yes, I am.
I didn't want to cut you off.
No, it's fine. I'm happy to go quickly through.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept the Park Street Foundation contract for $389.
second.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Martin, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes, I think.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Ooh, this next one's a big one.
The next one is also called through the Park Street Foundation. This is for the New Hampshire Downloadable Books Consortium, and I'm going to have Donna speak to this one. Donna.
I just wanted to note what the Park Street Foundation is. It's
Oh, yes.
the state library, but they use a foundation in order to receive payments from libraries.
Thanks.
Just so you know.
So it really goes to the state.
This is the Libby stuff?
This is Libby and Overdrive, however you want to, or New Hampshire Downloadable Books Consortium, goes by many names. This is our annual fee to contribute to the statewide collection that is available to our patrons. It did increase by 17% this year compared to last year, and that is because the formula they use to determine what we pay is based on our users and our circulation, and our users went up by 8.5% in 1 year, which is good, but unfortunately comes with a cost.
8.5%, you said?
Yeah, the users were up 8.5%. I believe that is attributed to the fact that you can actually search what's in this collection now in our catalog because we've joined GMOS, and they have that technology.
So my question is, this in addition to the Gmail's annual amount that we pay, we pay an additional $16,151.
This
For-
was in,
Yes.
yes, this was in place
It's
prior.
not part of,
No,
the-
this
okay.
was in place prior to Gmail's,
yes, yeah.
and has been in place, yeah, a long time.
Okay.
So the payment's not due until September 30th, 2026?
Correct. They issue this and because not all libraries are on a fiscal year, they're sometimes on a calendar year.
Mhm.
So they give us the whole year, which is very generous. But we
It is.
do usually try to pay it as soon as we get it.
Traditionally, that's how we've done it.
Yes, Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept the Park Street Foundation contract for the New Hampshire Downloadable Books Consortium 2026 annual fee for $16,151.
Second.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Can we
More
have
discussion.
one more question?
Oh,
Okay.
well, you're the chair.
Yes. No, I just
Sorry,
want to
there's no more questions.
No, okay, forget it, go ahead, move on. No, I'm verifying that this is our downloadable, this is the cost for our annual downloadable library of books for all of our users, correct?
So we offer 3 digital collections. This is one of the 3.
Okay, so we actually have, all of our downloadables is a combination of this plus the 2 other
Plus 2
ones.
others.
Okay, well, and I would never suggest not having that available. I just wanted to verify that, thank you. So, yes,
Finish your thought. Go ahead, finish your thought.
I'm sorry, what?
Finish your thought. I just.
Oh,
wanna ask a
no,
question.
that's it, I just wanted, my thought was I wanna know how much in total we pay for downloadables. Not that I would ever suggest not having downloadables. I think it's just good business to know, in total, approximately how much of our budget is downloadable. Does that make sense?
Right. Which I think you're moving towards and having that separate line item.
Yes, yeah.
You'll be able to see that.
And so in the future, because it's with the separable, it's not effective this year though, right?
Right, it's not effective
Yeah.
for FY '27.
It's gonna be put there, but empty, and the next year we're gonna add to it.
We're gonna fill it up.
Okay,
Well,
yeah. Okay, yeah, I just, again, yes.
my understanding is that actually the lines can be filled out for 27. So we don't risk losing the funds if it has to be the other budget.
That's my understanding. The reason we said we won't fill it because we're afraid of losing the funds,
Right.
and they said it's not gonna happen. That's not the way it happens.
Correct, so we
Yeah.
can actually fill
Yeah.
those lines up
Exactly.
for 27. We don't have to wait till 28.
Exactly. Okay, good. I just wanna make sure yes, Laura.
Just a quick question. What's the reason for paying this now if it's due September of 26?
Mainly Erin, you can agree or not agree with this, but I think to make sure the funding is accounted for in the budget, because then Erin, in keeping track of the budget, can keep track of the fact that it's already been spent easier than if she's hanging on to it for another.
And then we
several
risk
months.
of not having money in the budget to pay for it when we're responsible to pay for it. So my thought is to pay it, get it checked off the list so that we don't run into the risk of coming toward the end of the year, the fiscal year, not having enough money.
I'll add too that the state library, you can see it right on here, really encourages people to pay as soon as they can because it goes straight into what's being spent on weekly purchases for the collection.
So there's a librarian in charge of adding to this database, and the sooner we pay it, there's more of a comfort level for them to be able to use that money to continue to add to those items, and then obviously our patrons, which we can obviously tell it's gone up, will have access to those items immediately or soon, whatever they purchase them.
Jan, as treasurer, do you have any comment on that? You're comfortable with that?
I'm fine with us paying
Okay.
it whenever.
Maura, did you?
I guess my only concern is that this is an appropriation for a different fiscal year.
We would be paying this in July.
July is
No.
different.
It would have to still
sorry,
be,
we would,
This is for the current fiscal
this
year.
is it is for the current fiscal year.
For September 26th?
It's for this year, even though it's got that date on it. Because we would be using the funds, they would be using these funds to purchase items in this fiscal year.
So it's for FY '26. It's just confusing the way they've got it in the budget.
Yes.
I mean, on the sheet.
I
But
think
if you think about it, if we waited until September, there'd be a year where you spent nothing on AHDB, and then the following
Twice,
year you'd
yeah.
end up being either paying twice or having to wait again. And
Right, but you'd think that since they know how cities and towns, well, towns anyway, run on what fiscal year we run on.
Not everyone.
yeah, even the state library doesn't run on the fiscal year.
Bless you.
bless you.
I believe the due date has more to do with the state library
Mm-hmm.
and their time frame than is a reflection of, our budget cycle.
Is this consistent with the way we have been doing
Yes,
business?
yes.
So right now, the way we've been drawing from our budget,
Mhm.
this is a consistent thing,
Yes.
as opposed to changing.
Yes, it usually comes
Okay.
out October, November.
Yeah,
Yep.
We already have a motion, we can just vote.
yep.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Ellen Palmieri, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Beth Maraca, yes.
More rain, yes.
Okay.
The next one is the renewal contract for Gmail subscription to OCLC Web GUI. I'm gonna let Donna speak to this because it has to do with technical services.
So WebDewey is the staff-only database that we use to assign Dewey Decimal numbers to nonfiction materials. It used to come in like a volume set of books, and now they've moved everything to be a database. So what's really great is that Gmail subscribes to this themselves, and everyone splits the cost. Whereas before we were originally we had our own subscription, then we moved to the state library's subscription, which was a whole mess. Essentially, from last year to this year, with Gmilks, we're saving over 30%.
I like that. Would you like a motion?
Yep.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion that we accept the contract for the OCLC Web GUI for $1,782.
No, it's 300.
No, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I was like,
Am I on the wrong page?
Yeah, you're on the wrong-
$6.65. I'm sorry.
It's like a
Second.
different one.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Ellen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Maraca, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
More rain, yes.
Thank you. The next one is a renewal contract for transparent language database. This is a database that's available to our patrons. Prior to this, we had Mango Languages. This database I believe this is our second year in with this database, and we explored this for, I believe it was two reasons: cost, but mainly because this one offered sign language, where the Mango database did not. And this actually came in cheaper than the Mango database. And I believe Donna has some stats to speak to.
Yep, so I compared our last year of Mango to our first year of Transparent in terms of usage, and we had a 46% increase in usage, which I think is a great sign. I also really like that Transparent's actually local. They are out of Nashville, so we can just call a local number to talk to them, and it's great.
It's wonderful.
And I also wanted to mention that there was no increase in the cost this year. They continued to give us a 10% discount, which kept the cost the same.
They won the prize.
Hugely rare.
I'd like to make a motion for the contract renewal of Transparent Language Online for a sum of $1,782.00.
Second. Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Ellen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Maraca, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
More rain, yes.
The next one is a renewal contract for Hoopla. Hoopla is one of the three databases that we have that are the downloadable. We spoke to the downloadable books with Libby, Overdrive, whatever you want to call it, before. Hoopla is one that we personally subscribe to. It is not through any sort of state or additional contract with GMOS or state. It's one that we subscribe and pay for. It is available to our patrons. Each individual library would have to pay for their own subscription. I can let Donna speak to this as well with stats.
Yes, so Hoopla is the one that's really difficult to budget for because the model of it is a cost per circulation. So we pay for every item that's checked out, and every item that's checked out is not the same cost. So that's why it's difficult to budget. This agreement does not actually come with a dollar amount that you have to spend in a year. Hoopla works like we have control over the service level that we offer. So the service level that we offer right now is 4 checkouts per month. That's the limit. And we also set a limit this past June on the cost per item, so that because we were noticing that the cost just was not going to be sustainable budget-wise come the end of last fiscal year. So we set the item cap for the budget to be $2.50. That did remove over 270,000 items from the available collection. We did have some comments from patrons that were upset that some of the things they wanted to check out had disappeared on them, which I understand. But just to give you an example of budget-wise, at the end of last fiscal year, we had spent over $26,000 on Hoopla. With this change we've made since then, in the first 4 months of this fiscal year, we've saved 38% compared to what we spent last year, just for making that, putting that cap on the per item cost.
Nice.
So far this year, the average cost per circulation is $1.38. So even though our max is $2.50, we're actually spending around $1.38. Which I feel like is a comfortable spot to be, considering that a lot of the titles available on Hoopla are things that a lot of the time I don't think would necessarily be worth us adding to the collection, like in physical form. They wouldn't return the circulation. And another thing is that it offers such a broad range of materials. It's not just ebooks and audiobooks, it's TV and movies and music, which we don't have another downloadable service that does those other options at all. So what you're really deciding on tonight is to go another year with Hoopla, but throughout that year we could still make changes to the service level if we are concerned about how much is being spent.
So I will speak to this original service level change. Donna had come to me asking me about it, and I decided to go with that I'll take full responsibility that I went with that service level change. And again, my goal was always looking at the budget and making sure that it was covered by the budget. So I did make those changes in order to be fiscally responsible and mindful of our budget. I do have concerns with Hoopla, as much as it's a service I use and love, and there's quite a few people that do use it and love it, even on staff and patrons. I have concerns with Hoopla because its unpredictableness regarding our budget. I do think that if the board was, I would like the board to vote on this, obviously, with the understanding that this does present some risks with budget-wise, and to either stay at what the cap we have now and go forward with that, with knowing that it could present some financial challenges, but also I could, if the board would allow me to reach out to the board to spend out of their account to support this budget, to support this database, because it is so popular, I would entertain that as well. I'm not asking for it now, I'm just asking for the future of that possibility.
So I understand that we're being asked to approve this open-ended. Can we limit the amount of total amount we're talking about?
So there is another option that we don't currently use that limits the spending per month. The real thing the problem I have with it is that it's not a great service model, because as soon as you hit that budget cap, the service turns off for everybody. So Nashua actually uses it that way, and people like scramble to get stuff at like midnight, and then when they've spent their money in the next day or so, it's gone. Like that's it. Everybody's out for the month. And I really don't think that would be a good service model for our patrons.
It has a very greedy feel to it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
makes
for
me,
sure.
it makes us both uncomfortable.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to say, is there a maximum for the year or a maximum for 6 months or any of those things that we're talking about?
No.
I mean, we're just saying, oh, it could
It's
be,
open-ended.
it could be 1,000, it could be 5,000 this month.
What we could do if you want is you could decide a time frame when you want to revisit how much has been spent this year, and then you could decide if you want to make any changes to the service level because of how much has been spent. That would be my suggestion. My other suggestion is that if you're really concerned and are really strongly thinking about doing away with the service, would be, I would say, to make it last one more year, and we can communicate throughout the year that it's going to be going away as of whatever date. So that it's not like a shut off, that it's not an immediate shut off where people are gonna get very upset. They can almost like plan ahead for it. So those would be my
And I
best
do believe
suggestions.
Hoopla does have in the contract that we have to give them a certain time frame notice.
Yeah.
So if the board is going to decide to cut the service, we do have to give a certain time to Hoopla to do that. So if the board was gonna entertain something like losing the service, again, that would need to, I would almost encourage the board to communicate that before January so that we can make sure to communicate that to our patrons. So that they are not left without going, what happened? And
I believe the in order to cancel it for this year, I think we would have to give them notice by early December.
Is there a current contract other than this one from 22?
No, this contract actually, it's not like we sign it every year. So this covered, when we signed this, we agreed to have it for at least 24 months. After that time, it would continue to renew every year until we write to them to cancel. So if you decide to continue, there's really nothing that we would have to do. We just let it renew on its own and continue obviously paying the bills. But
I have a personal concern. I don't think that we should commit trustee fund money,
I don't think we can.
unlimited type of thing where there's no set cap or anything.
I'm not asking for, I'm asking for just the consideration that as we move forward, if the board is okay with renewing this contract and as we move forward, that there may be a possibility if something happens with our budget where we have to, a big repair or whatever it is, that the board will continue to support this database if needed until we have the right time in order to cancel. That's all I'm not asking for money right now, I'm just asking for that, because that's what that money is for, in reality.
So do we pay this monthly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what is your average monthly cost?
sure, so I can tell you the first 4 months of this year if you want.
Mhm.
July we spent $13.95 and 26 cents. August we spent $12.81 and 83 cents. September we spent $12.91 and 41 cents. October we spent $12.38 and 59 cents. So it's right around the 12 to 13 range on average a month.
And why would we not budget that into the annual budget?
We do budget it.
We do budget it.
So when for the
But you're saying if,
for the FY27 budget, I took the growth of the usage and projected an amount that I think would cover Hoopla, which Erin included in her presentation to you. What we're saying is there's a lot of like my number is a projection based on what we're doing in usage right now, but if usage like went up a crazy amount and we weren't expecting it, it's going to change how much we're paying. So that's what Erin's is saying, that it's not it's not like 100% reliable number.
So how much did we budget for 26?
For 26, I don't know the number for 26.
Okay,
in
how
front
about for
of me.
27?
I don't have the number for 27. I want to say it was very similar.
Well, it's included
it's
in
combined in
digital.
other
Yeah,
things.
it's included
It's
in
in
the
the
number
digital
that's
number.
combined with other things.
I believe the number was around 18 to 19,000.
Which is not horrible.
which is very similar to where Libby is
So,
right now.
I don't like the thought of cutting services, however, we do have to be mindful of costs. So I would think that it might be prudent to revisit this in 6 months to see if we're kind of on target with what I'm gonna average this and say we're spending about $1,300 a month. Would that be reasonable?
Yes.
And if it looks like it has spiked or doubled or tripled, then we can talk about it and if need be,
Then we take away all the
And
pamphlets.
what kind of, how many days notice do you have to give to leave this service?
So I believe it's 90. I'd have to find it in here, but I figured out what day it was. I believe it's early December, so you would have to decide tonight or at the December meeting to continue for another year, but you don't have to decide like what level of service you're going to offer. So we can leave it as is for now, see how the spending is in 6 months, as Nancy said, and revisit if you want to change like how many checkouts per month everyone has, or if you want to change the per item budget, or if you do want to go with the maximum budget per month idea, that's what's fine.
I mean, if by Nancy's suggestion of revisiting in 6 months, we would have another 6 months of numbers to see where that we're on track with that similar amount.
And if it looks like it's exploding, then we can
Right,
make
exactly.
different decisions.
I'm still very uncomfortable using a very finite number of dollars that we have. We have no income coming in whatsoever into our trust funds. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think this is even the trust fund discussion, though. This is about the money from the budget that we currently have, the fiscal year 26 budget. We're talking about those funds.
Yeah.
My concern more is how much was budgeted how much out of the fiscal year 26 budget was actually budgeted? Are we on track for that part for hoopla? That's the only thing. And my guess is that as we go forward, we should expect there's going to be more use of electronic means as we go forward. So it's going to be an ever increasing number. So when they ask those questions on the 10th, like, well, gee, what are the areas that you're concerned about, or you would like to make sure there's more money for? I would think the things we should say is electronic, because the electronic stuff's going to be more and more important, I think.
Yeah, I would agree
Okay,
with that.
and again, though, wasn't Erin's suggestion that we go forward with this, and if we run out of money, then we have to use trust?
No.
She was
No,
just
that's-
throwing that as a
I want to
suggestion.
clarify that.
Yeah, maybe I
It's not
misunderstood.
trust funds. These are the money in the trustee account. And that money, you do have funds coming into that money. It's not much. Into that account. It's not much. I do think that the board needs to recognize that that money does belong to the people and does belong to the library and should be used accordingly when needed. I'm not asking, I want to clarify again, I am not saying for a certain amount. All I'm saying, because of the way this database works, and also the popularity of this database, I would ask the board to please consider if there was a need to please use those funds accordingly and for the library. I don't think it's fiscally responsible, and I don't think it's fair to the people for us to hoard that money for whatever purpose. I don't even know why we're hoarding it. We should use that money for the library. And I've asked a number of times for the board to use that money for specific things, and they've been denied. I understand that. That's the board's decision. But recognize that this is the moment where we can say, okay, we maybe don't have enough money in our town budget. That's okay. We're gonna cover this for the rest of the year, or whatever that looks like. I don't know. I can't predict what that's gonna look like. But I do think that all I'm asking is that the board consider that in case that need arises. That's all.
I would agree, okay, but we're not gonna know
Right.
what that figure is because this is so volatile. So that's why I'm saying, let's look at this again in 6 months, and if we're still on target for this $1,300 a month, if it quadruples, well, that's a problem. And then we can talk about it, and if it's sustainable, to take some of that money out of the trust fund, we can talk about that then. I'm not suggesting that we're not gonna use that money for that. I would agree with you, that money is for the library. I'm just saying, let's look at this.
Yep.
And then make a decision in
I
6
agree.
months.
And I think we'll also have a good look at what our budget is also at that
Exactly
time.
right.
Where we may not need to ask for money
Right.
from the board, but
Right.
we're trying to be transparent in how this
course,
database works
100%.
and what that cost looks like, so that the board can be prepared in case that arises.
That's right. I gotcha.
Is there some other service out there that would provide a similar connectivity for our patrons without the open-endedness of the Hoopla contract?
I would say Hoopla is the biggest when it comes to what Hoopla offers is an instant download, whereas the model that like Libby and Cloud Library have is very similar to the traditional library, where you only have so many copies, so there's long wait lists for popular stuff. Whereas Hoopla, they offer everything on the spot, so go in, you download what you want when you want it. I would say the closest, and it doesn't offer the same range of materials, but we have looked at Comics Plus, which does...
Again, what was the name?
Comics Plus.
Comics Plus.
So that is specific only to the comics portion of Hoopla. It wouldn't do the audio, the video, the music. And that is more of like a flat fee that you pay annually. But again, only for comics.
Yeah, there are libraries that have both because they cover different things. So I wouldn't look at that, in my opinion, as a replacement of Hoopla. I think Donna's right that Hoopla offers something that other databases do not, and that instant download is why a lot of people prefer Hoopla over the others. It's kind of like when you look at like the big box stores, Costco, BJ's, and Sam's Club all carry different things. So you want memberships to all of them, right? Ideally. And then similar to this, Cloud Library, Libby, and Hoopla all carry different things. There is some overlap here and there, but a majority is there are things you cannot find on Libby and Cloud Library that's on Hoopla and vice versa. So that's why there is this challenge that, yes, Hoopla is fantastic, but it comes at a cost and it comes at a service. But that service is a huge benefit to our patrons that I think needs to be considered.
I just wanted to add, two more things to answer Jan's question. The other ones I'm familiar with are, there's one owned by Overdrive called Canopy that focuses on a video collection. That one is cost per circ, just like Hoopla. However, the cost is generally, what I've seen trend-wise, is that it's not as high as Hoopla because it's just video. And there are they have different ways you can limit what you're spending to. That's the last time I looked at that one. And then the other one I had off the top of my head was actually something we can do with Overdrive. We are able to, we're in what's called an Advantage library. So if you put any money towards Advantage, it's like you are managing your own parts of the collection. So for example, a good way to use it would be to look at what has high holds on Libby right now in the state collection, and we could buy our own license for the most popular that has high holds, and that license will only be available to our patrons. So it's not quite the instant model, but it is like a way to get patrons what they want faster. So if you don't have Hoopla, you could consider putting some money towards that service instead.
And you can budget, for example, if we don't have Hoopla, you could say, all right, we're gonna put $5,000 toward Advantage this year and then space that out. So, and then there is no, that's our decision, that's the $5,000. It's not gonna go up and down, that's our decision, unless the board decides to add to that, which you can always add. You can always ask for, I think it's an invoice or something of that nature, and say, we'd like an invoice for an additional $3,000, and then, build that up as we want. If for some reason we get a donation too, and we wanna do that, that we can do that. But again, it offers different things than Hoopla, but certainly it's an option.
So does it make sense to start, I'm actually out on the Canopy website right now, they look interesting. So does it make sense to start exploring some other
Okay. We've already explored Comics
options?
Plus most recently. That was actually presented as part of the budget the FY27
Yep,
budget.
yep.
But if you'd like, we can definitely, I looked at Canopy maybe, I'm totally guessing on this, but maybe 4 years ago. So I could definitely look at what's changed.
Well,
since then.
I'm just saying that, you know, again, maybe in 6 months we talk, in addition to talking about whether or not we're gonna keep hoops on.
Absolutely.
And if the costs quadruple, then you can say, however, we've looked into some of these things and these might be a good replacement, and then we can have a discussion about that.
We can come back in the 6 months with those options with more detail if that's something that the
Okay.
board would like us to do.
Too
I would
complicated?
like to change the timeline on that,
Okay.
okay? I think that it's a product that we're using, we're comfortable, our patrons are comfortable,
Yep.
and it's really been a very effective product for this, you know, for the library. What I would suggest is, is that we actually in 3 months, start a 3-month cycle of watching for the 12 months of the budget, watching, and because you have to give a 3-month, you have to give them 3 months, to cancel. So if we look at it as 6 months, then we're required to pay through 9 months. This way,
True.
if we're
Yep.
looking at
Yep.
3 months, we see how much of that year's budget has been spent in the first 3 months. And I think that's the only thing. My only problem is the liability.
Yep.
Okay, and so therefore, I'm not saying I don't wanna spend the money, I'm saying the liability.
Right.
Okay, so if we do it in 3 months, then, we probably have enough in the budget to cover the first 6 months anyway. And realistically, we probably won't cancel it, but I just feel more comfortable
Yep.
giving a shorter period of time before we review.
Would that give you all enough time to look at some other options that we could talk about?
Yeah, would that, so for 3 more months of data, would that be your February meeting? Would you agree
Yeah.
with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to
And
make a
just,
motion
I don't know
on
how to
this.
make a motion either.
oh, basically, you just tell us, exponentially, now we're spending $2,500 a month as opposed to $1,300.
Right.
So we're gonna run out of money by March or something. That's the type of thing that, the overview that we're looking at.
I think the motion that you might be looking for is just for us to agree to this contract right now, which is
Yeah.
what we have to do, with the caveat that at the February meeting, we would come back with some more statistics, the budget that's been spent, and look at other options. Is that acceptable?
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if that's an official motion. I can't make the motion, but I,
Yeah.
Yes.
I just was, I was trying to clarify what I was saying.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve going forward with Hoopla for the next 3 months at the current rate, and that we revisit this in February with more data, with an idea of looking at possible other options or continuing at a different amount.
Second.
Nancy?
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Marco, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
All right. That was easy.
Thank you.
Right, and that's the last contract, right?
Nope.
No.
Well, we have an agreement with
This
the
library
Ingram
service.
Library Services. That's a new vendor due to the fact that Baker and Taylor has shut down. That's our vendor that we use now. That vendor is where we get all 90% of our books. And also with some processing. So Donna has looked into Ingram, as every library is. So somehow she got through and got some information from Ingram. And do you want to speak to that, Donna?
Yes, so what I've learned from Ingram is they have a little bit of a different way of doing business than Baker and Taylor. So with Baker and Taylor, the library paid an annual fee that would cover our access to their online catalog that gives us ability to order online. And then it also would include shipping, so we wouldn't pay shipping for anything that was
good.
shipped. Ingram does not do that.
Not so bad.
We're not done yet.
The positive
I'm
is
darned.
that for us to become a customer of Ingram, there is no fee we have to pay up front. However, we do have to pay shipping on everything that ships.
Yeah, you're killing us.
I know. From what I've learned,
Pay me later.
from what I've learned, it's like I believe the maximum is $250 per like shipment.
$250?
No, $2.50. Sorry, I should have been more specific.
Alright.
But another thing that we kind of have to work with Ingram is that there's a minimum number of items that have to be ready before something ships, which I think is how they manage the cost for shipping. It's not like they're shipping one book at a time generally. So there have to be 10 items coming from a particular warehouse before that order will ship for us. Or I think the other caveat is like if it's there for, I don't remember the days, 45 or 60 days, that it will ship individually at that point. So things could be sitting there for a bit. They have 4 warehouses, and that minimum does apply to every warehouse. We would be assigned 1 primary and 1 secondary. If items ship from the secondary, from what I've learned, it does come with a higher shipping cost because it's further away. They do it based on location. But like I said, the good news is that there's nothing to pay up front. And we can also have, with Baker and Taylor, we were limited to a certain number of users because we were paying per account, and we don't do that with them. We can have as many logins as we need. Which is nice.
I would also like to point out that this is it. There are no other amendments.
That's
So
this is the, this
you
is
kind
the
of
only
have
game
to.
in
You
town.
kind of have to approve it because
Yeah.
there's no other options. We
Yeah.
do use Amazon at times, and we have been using Amazon in kind of in our flux right now. And we have used Gibson's bookstore that's up in Concord to purchase books as well, but they don't have every book, obviously, and there's pluses and minuses to everything. So we need a real, I guess, a larger vendor to accommodate the need of our level of ordering
And processing.
So
this is the only option, really.
this is right now.
At
This
this
is the only.
point in time.
I have a feeling that something will come out of the woodwork to replace Baker and Taylor and to be a competitor with Ingram. I just don't see that right now.
Yeah. And
There's
we're talking about a
I was saying
one-year
there was
contract.
there is an
This is open ended or is this a 1-year contract we renew every year?
So this is open ended.
That's what
my
I thought.
understanding.
Oh, so
There are
if any-
two. There are 2 terms of agreement in here. One is just to.
The cost.
Right.
It's okay. There's 2 terms of agreement. There's the terms of sale, and then there's the user agreement for iPage. iPage is their digital catalog database, whatever you want to call it. There isn't a cost associated with accepting these, the way there would be with Baker and Taylor. Instead, what you're really agreeing to is for us to open a line of credit with them, because that would allow us to pay our shipments by invoice through them instead of having to pay like credit card every time. So that is really what you're agreeing to, is to become a customer with them, to agree to these terms, and to open a line of credit. Does that make more sense?
Sort of. What are the terms?
Okay, so there's one, this starts with this page.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, and then the second
The
one,
iPage.
that one's like 3 or 4 pages. And then the
It's a
next
different
one is
font, so
iPage terms
kind of
of
seems
use.
it.
Must have been put together by the right one.
iPage.
I don't think I have it.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, where?
Right here.
And that 30 days, which is.
Shut. I'm trying to freeze
Like my
me out
mom.
over here.
Oh, it's right there.
Any guess as to how much it'll
Right,
cost?
I mean, it's
mean-
within our budget. It's within the
So we-
materials
So this will
budget.
just be for the book stuff?
It's for the book line, so the selectors will spend within their budget. We will now have to account for, like, I'll need to tell them to account for shipping, which should be $2 and whatever they charge per order.
I'm gonna write that down.
The only thing that's kind of variable is if it ends up shipping from not our primary warehouse.
Which we don't know. We won't be
Which
able
we
to
won't
tell.
know.
So each of
Sending it
the
to us from Australia, it might be a
No,
little more
yes.
expensive.
I mean, what we can
I
do,
hope not.
what we can do that will be kind of different for us, but we will get the hang of it, is that we have to be more mindful of the so what's really good about them is that they have very accurate stock when we go to order.
Okay.
So we can see what warehouse has
It's real
what
time.
has what number of copies. So if our primary warehouse has 0, it might be more beneficial for us to order that from Amazon or Gibson's or another or Bookery or whatever local bookstore. Depending on those, well, Amazon's pretty competitive with their library pricing. Local bookstores are harder because they can only give you certain discount, but they do give us a discount. So I think we're just going to be more that's the best word, more strategic in who we're ordering from, instead of the way we were doing it before, where we were just like everything from Baker and Taylor.
Yeah.
It's going to be more like, is it better if we order from them or from somewhere else?
With Baker and Taylor, you did some processing.
Yes.
I assume this doesn't have processing.
They will do processing. I've been quoted that it's going, because of the volume of libraries that are trying to get set up with them, that the processing setup would take many months before we can even get set up. But yes, the processing will come with its like own set of costs. And if you prefer, when I get to that stage, I can bring that to you before we sign up for
We
it.
did it with Baker and Taylor, and then we would get separate invoices for processing. So we had an idea of what that would cost, but because we don't exactly know with Ingram, and that number could change because as they take on more clients, we don't know what that looks like. But the idea is just to get us going where we can start ordering materials for our patrons, and there's no delay in the holds or their other services to them. So
I make a motion that we approve a contract with Ingram to set up a line of credit and to engage with iPage or whatever we have to do in order to be able to effectively use the system, and that we monitor this over the course of the next 6 months for the expansion that we need to do or contraction to fit within the budget. Is that
Which
all right?
is a really long motion, but I
Would
think
you-
I'm gonna second it.
So, and we could say for the whole year, but it's just like we don't know
Right.
how it's gonna be. In 6 months, you'll have an idea of, are they actually delivering? So,
My only question is, when we get to the processing stage, do you want me to bring those numbers to you before we commit to signing up or using the service?
I think you'll have to kind of make that decision, because you're making that decision versus processing it in-house, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I
So
would
you'll
like
have to
to
make
see
that.
that happen though.
You would like to see?
Yes, yeah. Anything that alters what we vote on for finances, we should be aware of the
Probably particularly
cost.
since there aren't any hard numbers here, that's
Yeah.
probably a good thing. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I would agree
so
with
the
that.
motion is to engage with these folks for books and iPage, and more details for processing to come, as you know what it is.
Second,
Roll call.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Ellen Palmieri, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes?
Maureen, yes.
thank you. The last one is actually the last page in your packet because we did not have it at the time that this was posted. So it's called A to Z database subscription agreement. It's at the top there. It says that. Well, if everybody's, I'll wait a minute for everybody to
Wait
find
to
it. It's
shuffle.
the last page in your, should be at the bottom of your packet. Well, I don't have this online, so.
There it is.
It looks like this.
Looks like this.
I can.
Oh, like that.
It's not at the bottom, huh? Cause this, the bottom is personnel policy.
No, it should be, it's after that. There's a lot more after
All
that.
this stuff after
You
this.
might have flipped it funny.
People are proud of it.
I don't know after that. So today, this is what Megan gave us.
Is it in the paper clipped item?
Okay, I'll look through.
Look at the last page of the
Okay,
paper clipped
I
item.
think you're right.
It might be in there. Nope, maybe not. Nope.
This,
Yes, thank
So
you.
it's
It's
like
in there,
halfway
it's in the
through your
paper clip.
paper clips.
Halfway through paperclip. Okay.
It's after the department notes.
Sorry, mine was on the bottom. Sorry.
oh, yeah, does that?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a database, I'm gonna let Donna speak to this because she kind of manages a lot of the databases, so she has numbers.
Yes, so A to Z, this is a really tough one. Aaron and I, our initial recommendation was going to be to cancel this subscription. I am really on the fence because the usage, I will say, is low. It did increase compared to last year. It actually increased a lot, 74%. But when you do the math out for like how much we're paying per search, it's over $2.50, which is high. My hesitation in wanting to cancel, I totally agree if you want to cancel because of the cost, but what's hard is that this is really the only database we have that's really a really great reference tool. So in a sense, it really replaces like the phone book because it's a very like verified source for searching people, searching businesses, searching job openings. It does a little bit of like providing templates for resumes and cover letters that people can work off of. So I think for what it offers, it's hard to not have that going forward, even though the usage is low, if that makes sense. So, but obviously I leave it in your hands.
It's somewhat, I just say it's somewhat of a unique database in what it offers, so I don't believe there's others out there that, I think if there was, it'd be more expensive.
It is a very I looked at other
It's very
GNOS,
common.
I looked at other GNOS libraries, and it's very common for really all of them to subscribe to A to Z.
I think it would be great to increase the use of this too. If we could do like a highlight every month or something of, you know, we do a great job of like identifying for folks like the Library of Things, but like every month to have like, even if it's like a wall display or a Facebook page or something to kind of just create dialogue, because I think a lot of people wouldn't know. I'm here all the time and I didn't know about this, so it's just kind of cool. I'm like, oh, what could I have used that for?
So we have talked about that, just in general, our databases, especially like, you know, we have US major dailies and things like that.
Yes.
I think a lot in consumer reports, I think we can definitely, that's something we can work on, and highlighting them, either doing a Facebook post or even doing a program where one of the staff members kind of does a little, you know, how to use this database kind of a thing, which we did have at the time when we had a reference. I think Matt did a cataloging kind of program. So that's definitely something that we can work on, and I agree with you. I think all of our databases, because they cost money, should be highlighted so that we can really get the full use out of them. Recognize though when that use goes up and then we decide to take it away, it could create other problems.
I think if we're gonna invest,
but I agree with you.
We should talk about, you know, getting people to use it.
Yeah, no,
I just
absolutely.
want to tag on to Erin that we do already, like Becca already highlights in the adult newsletter, a database every month. But if you were interested in keeping this because of what it offers, we could do more of a like every month we look at something different this offers
within the database
instead of just the database itself.
So, okay.
Sorry, I was just going to say it would be nice if there was like a short video clip that we could put on the website that people could, you know, find out the basics of each of the databases maybe, or, you know, do so that, I mean, you wouldn't have to make them all at once, but you'd start putting them up. They wouldn't have to be long, but kind of following the same format each time so that people get kind of a flow as to how it would be. Because for a lot of folks, they're not really even know what a database is. So, and is this a fixed cost, it looks like?
It is, and you can choose what terms you agree to. Obviously, if you choose a longer term, you get a better rate, but that's up to you. If you'd rather pay more for the 1 year so we can see if we can
my
increase the
comment
usage.
is that looking at it, there's not that much greater savings to do the 3 years, and we're looking at, you know, the cost per year. It would match our budget. It's an annual cost that we put into our budget, as opposed to now spending 3 years in advance that we haven't budgeted for. So I feel more comfortable with going with the 1 year.
I do too. I would agree.
You know,
Would
I
you like a
think,
motion?
yeah, fiscally, it makes more sense, because when you look at the costs, it looks like, oh, well, you saved this much dollars, but with the inflation, it's not that much, you know what I mean? The difference is not that much. So, Maura,
You can finish your thought, I just wanna ask a question now.
that's okay.
How many users does this database actually have?
So this is tough. It has, so I have a number of logins, a number of searches, number of pages viewed. I have a lot of numbers. So
Okay,
which one
Let's-
would you prefer?
Let's do logins.
Logins. So this past year there were 152.
Okay. I kind of think your first instinct was correct, because I think a lot of this stuff is available through other means. But 152, so that's good to know.
And I've been coming here forever, and I didn't even realize
Yeah.
we had this service, so I think just
yeah.
creating more awareness will get more use.
I think you're gonna have a lot more usage if you do create awareness. That's a great idea, Beth. The other thing is, I think that 152, does that mean that there's 152 people that have a login in this, you know, library, but they might be using it multiple times. So it might not be the number of hits to this program.
So it's the number of times someone entered a library card number to get access.
So it's
So it's the hits, yeah.
yeah. So there's 152 times it was used.
Yeah, that was used. You know what? My suggestion is, let's go with it for a year. Let's build up the advertisement and the education of what we have. If it's something that stays stagnant, maybe we don't continue it next year. But at least if it's something that now people realize, wow, this is great, and they start using it more, then we'll definitely want to continue it. That would be my suggestion. Go ahead, Jen.
Well, with the number of the number of logins that we've had, it's like $17.53 per login. That's pretty expensive when we're considering limiting the hoopla things to less than $2.50. I mean, you know, we're
Yeah.
limiting one service in order to provide this other service I'm not saying it's not worth it for those people, but I worry about how
Per
we're
capita,
spending.
it's not worth it for the
Yeah,
library.
it just seems like we're stretching, and
Yeah.
are those other things available? I don't know.
I would say we do a year and evaluate it and see what happens.
You'd like to do the 1 year,
Yep, don't you think, a year and, right?
Dawn?
I just wanted to add too, I mean, you may have read it on the agreement, but it does have some really great tools for small businesses to help with marketing. I actually have tried to reach out to the Chamber of Commerce to let them know we have this and what it does, because I do think people could use it to kind of find their target audience for customers. So if any of you happen to have any connections to the Chamber and want to work with me on that, I'd be happy to.
Or Rotary?
Try it again. Or Rotary.
Rotary would be a good one too.
You know,
So this starts in March.
Yeah.
So we currently have it through March?
Correct.
Nancy?
Madam Chair, I would make a motion that we accept the A to Z databases subscription agreement for 1 year at the cost of $2,665.
Second.
Roll call.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Bill Greco, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
More Ryan, no.
Okay, motion passed. So, motion passed.
Alrighty.
Alright, the circulation policy update?
Yes. All right.
This is
So that's all the contracts, thank you. All right, sorry.
Point of information, in the future, could we get back to putting the old business first and then new business second, because that's the way it should be?
Yes.
Because what happens is we spend all of our time on new business and we still don't get ever to the old business.
Yes, I was
So,
cautiously optimistic we might get through some of this stuff quickly tonight. I was afraid we start with old business, we'd never get past it.
Raymond? Okay, I didn't know if there was more. Okay. As I've mentioned in a director's report, but never got a chance to speak of, there is a new law that will take effect January 1st. It is in your packet. Just trying to find mine, sorry. It's in with the circulation policy. If you go to the end, you will see it, at the top it says chapters 273, House Bill 273 final version. And then there's a back to that as well with the same, this continue with the same bill. So this bill takes effect January 1st. It is a, let me just find it for the people in the audience.
It's all this stuff.
Okay, so this is I'll read the back.
It's only about.
So this is, this bill states that all library records related to minors' current borrowing of printed library materials and audiovisual materials such as DVDs and CDs shall be available to either parent or legal guardian of the minor when requested by either parent or the legal guardian of the minor, or the parent or legal guardian of the minor whose address matches that on the library account or who is listed on the library account. Effective date, January 1st, 2026, 1925. So with that, there a lot of libraries, at least every library has to update probably their circulation policy if they have one, and create a procedure around this. We have been working with not only GMILKs, but with other libraries in the state, obviously about this bill and how to handle it and how to go forward with it. There's a lot of things in this bill that are not clear. We do think that going forward, this bill could be potentially updated or removed or whatever that looks like, but in the meantime, we need to create policy and procedure for it. So Megan, who is my head of circulation, and Donna and I have all worked together, and Jen, who's sitting right there, have all worked together on kind of creating this, updating the policy and creating a form around this. We think the overall general everyday patron this will not be an issue. Where this becomes probably an issue is for the parents that are potentially separated and the relationship is a little concerning or whatever have you. Anyway, we still need to create a procedure and policy around it. So Megan took the liberty, as it's her area, to update our circulation policy. And you'll see in section A, under section 3, letter A, and I'm going to go back up so that our patrons can see that. There's a few areas where this has been updated. You'll see under eligibility, we had to add minor aged 11 to 17 must sign an authorization card listing at least one parent or legal guardian at the time of registration. This allows. Megan, do you want to speak to this, or would you rather just continue? If the chair would entertain Megan to come up and speak to this, we can continue to have like an open conversation, if that's okay?
I nodded.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna just borrow this so I can.
It's not in that one.
Wow.
Do you want mine?
Yes, please.
Okay. There's a multitude of pages that require updating, so hold on. I'm going to give you all of them. There. Sorry, Megan.
No worries.
I wish we had a copy for her.
So what that basically just lists is they will have to put somebody on as an authorized user that is a parent or legal guardian. We determined that generally speaking in New Hampshire, it's recognized that anyone under 18 is considered a minor. So that's why we got that information.
On page 3, there's another section under borrowing. Oh no, that's right. Ignore that for a second because that's going to come at the second part. There's two updates in this policy.
So, continuing with the circulation with the new
my
law
fault.
is on page 6 under library user records.
Mm-hmm.
We would like to, at the very bottom, it's highlighted, to add for adults, and that's pretty much the same as what it is currently. And then the second section for minors, and it says beginning January 1st in accordance with New Hampshire RSA 202-D:11, Roman numeral 2-A, a parent or legal guardian may request records of their minor child's library account for all printed and audiovisual materials currently checked out to that minor child. A parent or legal guardian requesting access to their minor child's library account must present a government-issued identification at the time of the request to verify that they are currently authorized on the library account. If the parent or legal guardian is not authorized on the minor child's account, then they must provide proof of relationship to the minor, such as a government-issued identification with the same address as minor child, a birth certificate with both the name of the child and the parent listed, or court order establishing guardianship. All requests must be made in person by completing the library request of minor records form. And this was to treat everybody the same and do our best to get all of the information to comply with the law. So our very best.
So there is a form also in your packet, and that is also a draft. That's the form that would be expected to be filled out if the parent or guardian is requesting this information. And then you'll see that library staff, only on the second page, there is a process that we would go through in order to provide that information.
So it's basically a checklist to make sure everybody's following the same process, and it would have just this document we took Manchester and recommendations that were made from Primex to another library, but Primex is our insurer as well, and kind of combine them to fit our library. Manchester's is very extensive, but it basically gets all of the information, and this would be something when you're looking at it is something like if they want to come in and get a receipt for what's checked out, or if they're checking something out and their child's not with them, we'd go through the same process for everyone, so we're keeping everybody the same and we would fill this out, and this protects both staff and patrons.
So I would like to point out that the language here in this request form was mostly taken by Manchester, and Manchester did have, so we didn't have to pay for it, they did, a lawyer look at their policy in this form and review it. Thank you, Megan. Review it so that, making sure that we were following to the law. So that's where we got this information. I feel confident that what Megan, Donna, and Jen and I have done is following the law. Again, it's hard when something new comes out like this that's very, in a way, kind of vague. We do our best to follow that law. And then there's something else I was going to say and I forgot what it was. I think that's it. Did you have anything to add? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, Jen. Can I just get my thought?
No problem. Go ahead.
The other thing that we're going to do is create almost like a bookmark with an updated login information, so that to avoid this completely, the parent can log into their child's account, just like any of us can, and see what's checked out if they have their barcode and PIN number. So that is also something that we're going to train our patrons to do, because that's good for anybody. I mean, that's good whether this law exists or not. That's good for anybody to have. So that's going to be something that we're going to do to maybe try to avoid, because the less that we kind of get involved in this process, the better. But knowing that this process is happening, we can give the parents the tools to do it on their own, so that it's not, because this does feel like an inconvenience, certainly. And so this way they can do that at home. They can be at midnight going, what does my kid have checked out, blah, 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 and do it on their own. But we do feel that at this time we have the procedure and policies and everything in place to accommodate and follow the law. I'm sorry, Jen, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's just, the only thing I was wondering if there would be some way to, like, write down the, I don't know, the driver's license number or whatever it is, however it is that they have produced to show that they're related to the child. It would be good if there was some record of what that was.
I think it would be the staff section. I mean, we didn't leave a space for like a license number.
Okay.
But it does check off whether they show
Alright.
identification and if we needed to look for a court order or a birth certificate instead of.
The other thing is to keep in mind is that what we've been told by not only lawyers but also other libraries are doing is don't do more than what the law is asking you.
Just do
because it gets you into trouble. The
Right.
more information that we gather that is unnecessary, the more it could create problems for us and patron privacy. So we are really just creating a situation where we're following the letter of the law, and that's it. If that law obviously is changed, updated, or whatever have you, certainly we would update our policies and procedures to match that. But we want to be careful on how much we're gathering so that we don't get ourselves in a position where it's unnecessary and invasive.
Yeah, I think it's really important that you stress to the patrons that they have the ability to do this themselves.
Mhm.
And if they are truly, responsible for that person
Mhm.
of the child, they should have that child's information.
Mm-hmm.
So in this way, it removes as much liability from the library and as much work
Mm-hmm.
from the librarians as possible. I mean, it might be that, sometime someone just doesn't know how to do it. Okay, you explain the process to them, explain, okay, now, find, if you're not the primary person that the child is under then you need to get from the other spouse or whatever that information, but again, I think that you follow the letter of the law and you encourage the individual to conduct that study on their day.
We always will give anybody who wants a lesson on how to log into their account or or how to use the catalog, any part of that.
Yeah.
We will always give that option to teach them. I think it's important that they have that access so that they can do what is necessary, renew books, whatever on their own if they want to, or now in this case, see what's being checked out or what's out, so that they take responsibility. Because really, the ownership of that card is responsible for what's on that card, and so that help leads to that as well.
And again, they should be, it gives them more privacy to what they're doing.
Because and they can now, so they always can have access to the history, like check off the history of what they've checked out. But on our end, we don't see that. So if they want to see that, they have to log into their account
Yes.
and see it, which is totally fine. We don't want to know what you
Yeah.
have checked out. It's none of
Yeah.
our beeswax, and that's totally fine. And now it continues to give that power to the patron.
What is the plan for keeping these records secure?
So, we will be, anytime something is filled out per request, it will come to department head or go to Erin, and they can then be put into a locked file so that they are kept secure. They wouldn't be kept electronically at all, but we would.
Yep, I have there are file cabinets in my office that I keep locked that are locked, and I have the key. And the key is locked.
So you have a
it's
process.
like triple locked.
Yeah, you have a
Yes,
process
because
already set
I
up.
I have payroll records and stuff like that I keep locked that I only have access to the key. It would be the same process.
Because I assume that there could be a situation where you have a non-custodial parent saying, gee, did this get requested by the other person, and then,
So that's why that form exists, is because we pretty much as a library, and not just our library, but as library people have talked about, this will go to the court. There will be a
Oh, yeah.
situation where someone will go
Yeah.
to the court. And so that form essentially says, this person came in to collect those collect that information, and then we will be able, obviously with proper legal matter, be able to present that. That's essentially what that form does.
And
Yeah.
Megan, is the plan that you would attach whatever it was you sent out, or you would attach a copy of it here, or not?
Not at this time. No.
It was not,
Because
the
that
law
could
doesn't
change.
say that we need to keep a copy of the record, it just says that they had access to it.
Okay.
That we gave access on a specific day.
On a specific day.
We don't keep track of the patron history,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we don't have access to that, we have only what you currently have checked out. This would just be giving more information because we don't track that. And even when you're looking at statistics on use and stuff, it's very hard to figure things out.
Well,
but for what we give out, we would just say that it was requested and we gave it to them, but not what the item is, because that we don't have to provide that information that we gave this, that, and the other thing. So this is just that we gave the information out.
my concern would be, again, if there was a legal case or whatever, we don't have any way to reconstruct whatever it was you gave.
Right,
No,
so the
but
information that they would be receiving is very specific to the items that are checked out, so they would not have any access to the child's contact information.
Right.
It would only be like books and materials that are currently checked out physically on their card. So that would be what we would have, and if there was somebody who said, did someone access my child's card, but did my spouse, or we actually can't give them that information without a court order because that is not covered in the law.
Yeah.
It's just saying that the parent or guardian came in and requested the information and we provided the information. So that's what we're following.
And keep
the
in
law.
mind, when you come in, you can come in on Monday and request that information. By Wednesday, that what's checked out could absolutely change.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
providing them with that information doesn't really do much.
It just
And
says
again,
today these six
we
pieces
don't want
were
to
out.
give more than what is necessary.
So it's not
Um,
historical data.
no.
It's
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 current.
It's current.
So you come in
That's
today
right.
and want
That's
what's
what the
checked
law
on your
says,
child's
yeah.
card, that's what I'm gonna give you. I'm not gonna give you, you have to come in and request it again.
Okay,
Again.
this particular form, was this developed, I'm sorry, you probably said that, and I didn't catch. Basically, obviously, at some point in time, this form is gonna be brought to a court case, obviously, somewhere.
Not that form, but
Not
that
the
form
form,
could
but
be used for information gathering.
That's what I
Yes,
mean, yeah.
and that form was looked out by the Manchester Public Library, hired a lawyer
Okay, good.
we essentially stole some
Good.
information from it,
Good.
because
With permission.
with permission. Denise, the director of the Manchester Library, specifically gave out her policy procedures to share, because when you think about it, there are very small libraries in this state that are going to have to accommodate this law, that do not
Right.
have the funding to create something to protect themselves. And she is extremely generous in her knowledge and sharing, and so we took advantage of that. And every library is looking at this and how do we do this, based
Yeah.
on their community and stuff and how they handle it. And so it's a challenge, because we're very much here at our library, and I can speak to other libraries because I've worked in a few, that you create relationships with your patrons, and unfortunately this bill is going to create some issues where those relationships will change because we have to follow this law. And it's unfortunate that your local community library and the person you see every day almost now has to follow a law that feels very restrictive and very awkward.
Invasive.
Yeah, so my personal feelings don't really come into play here, but we are following the law. We don't want to do more than what is necessary. That's protection of my staff and us and the board, obviously, because the board will probably have to answer to anything that happens. But we're going to do our best to follow that letter, and I believe what we've created and what Megan and everybody's worked on does that.
Okay, thank
Is
you.
it perfect? I don't know yet.
We all can't be perfect, just most of us.
Right, Donna?
I just
Yes,
wanted to
Debbie.
add one quick comment that because of these changes in December, we will also bring you an updated retention
Mhm.
policy, because we have to spell out that these forms will be kept probably forever. So that will be forthcoming too.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yep.
I was gonna make a motion that we accept the changes.
So if you could make a
Circulation.
motion that accepts the changes related to this bill, because in the circulation policy is also other changes
changes.
not related to this bill.
Make a motion to accept the changes to the policy that are related to this bill. Is that one?
Yep.
Okay.
And the form.
And the form.
In the form. Jan, would you like to
Second.
second that? Okay.
Nancy Hendricks, no.
Starting off hot.
So, okay.
Before we continue voting, can we ask, because you might have insight that we don't, that could affect?
I just fundamentally disagree to the whole thing, so I'm.
Okay,
voting no.
I understand. You're
Because-
disagreeing really with
Yes.
the law.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I
The word,
understand that.
the word that you just used is absolutely correct, it's very invasive.
It is invasive, I know.
The challenge is that we have to
Yeah,
have
so
something.
Liz
So whether,
Thomas-
I agree with you, I don't necessarily agree with the law either, but there is a law that we have to follow, and to avoid being accused of not following laws, we've created this
Yeah,
these
and
documents
again,
and forms.
Nancy's expressed
Yeah,
her
I totally
interest,
understand
which
that.
is what every trustee has the ability to do and should do.
On every
Okay,
vote.
because I realize that the constraints placed on the library,
Right.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Right, Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Markle, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Moran, no.
Vote pass.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, it's needed to pass.
Yeah, I didn't, this took a lot of time, and it was time, unfortunately, for us that we need to do this. Okay, so the second part of that, circulation policy update is on page 3, where under, borrowing, there's a loan periods, section A, loan periods. So this is related to a vote that was taken through GMILPS, which a lot of libraries already participate. I think there was only, 2 libraries that had not participated in the auto renewal. So this, these changes, and they're on pages 3, and I believe going into 4, I believe that's all the 2 pages. But if you wanna take a look at it all, but they essentially, we're changing our loan period for our items to 3 weeks for every, for all GMILPS libraries are doing this, so it's gonna be 3 weeks, and then you will have 1 auto renewal. The only exceptions for us are our collections are reference and historical reference and museum passes and interlibrary loans. And so the mindset behind this is what I understand is one, that GMILPS has been trying to do this for a long time, and they finally are moving forward with it. So it's not just because we have been at it, it's not just anything related to us, it's just something that's been in their kind of to-do list. And the 3 weeks does seem like a long time, but there are libraries that have been doing this process for a while. There were just, like I said, 2 hanging libraries that, and the reason we were hanging was because it was something which we hadn't had an opportunity to talk about yet, we being so young. But it does, the auto renewal, there's always pluses and minuses to anything. In my opinion, the auto renewal is a good thing. It saves our patrons from having to do it themselves. And certainly after that, if they were able to renew it again, we would offer that to them, depending on if it's popular or not, and all that jazz. But we do think this is a nice consistent message across GMILPS libraries that does clarify some things and make it less confusing for our patrons, that we're all following this kind of similar process. So again, these changes are reflective in the circulation policy here, so we're just asking for the approval of these changes in order to do this as of January 1st as well. So.
I have a question about the Library of Things. Currently, do we loan our Library of Things items to GMILPS, other GMILPS people?
No.
So if we don't, then why do we change that?
So we don't send them on the van, but if like a Wyndham patron came in here, it would be at our discretion if we were willing to lend them the Library of Things item.
Okay.
But they'd have to return it here.
They return it here.
Yeah,
They wouldn't be able to return it in
My concern is, I think about like the telescopes and stuff like that, and it's, it already is tight sometimes to have the telescopes, if there's a lot of stuff going on and people are reporting stuff.
So we could decline their checkout if it's another patron from the library.
No, what I'm saying is this 3-week period, that seems like it's a, that maybe for the Library of Things, I could, if it's something, since the Library of Things tends to be stuff that we're restricting to our own folks, that I don't think it makes sense to change it, except for saying that we're making it all that way. But if it's just for our own folks, and it's the Library of Things, I would think that we would, because some of those things are either harder to replace or, cost more or whatever.
That's fine. If the board is in agreement, we can add it to our exceptions.
I personally agree with Jen. I felt when I read that, I go, well, that's good for books, but I wouldn't do it for other things that we have on our shelves that, we've acquired and we lend out to people. Because, so I think, I fully agree that I think that's a great idea for the books, for 3 weeks and then automatically renewing it for another 3 weeks. Now that we have the ability through GMILPS to move, to get access to more books and stuff, it's less important that we get the books back on the shelf immediately. So I like that part of it. I don't like the part that it's not just the books, okay?
So we can certainly add library of things to that list of kind of restricted items, and then do that. It's fine.
Any thoughts, ladies?
Jan, if you wanna make a motion
Yeah,
then.
I'd like to make a motion that we make the changes for the 3 weeks for the renewing of materials, but to restrict the library of things to the current 2-week period.
I would second that.
Yes?
I just have clarification, sorry. Do you want to, so something we struck out was that library of things materials are not renewable. Do you want that to return so they're not renewable, or would you?
I would think they shouldn't be renewable.
Okay, so return it to the way it was.
Mhm.
Okay, and then the second question, or the second clarification is, if you wouldn't mind adding the auto renewal piece to your motion.
Okay, so that, and furthermore, move that they automatically renew once for a 3-week period.
I still second the motion. Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Franklin, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, yes.
Vote passed unanimously.
And I just have a question now that we've finished that part, but so can people still take out 50 things at one time? So potentially you could have somebody have a month and a half of 50 things.
So we already, it was already a month and a half, so we had a 2-week loan, but they could renew it up to 3 times.
Okay,
So it's really the same time period.
all right.
Okay. Do you want me to move on to the next item?
Okay, did we, within that, did we approved everything, we're good?
Yep, so the
Yeah.
circulation policy will be updated, and I will have a copy in your mailboxes to add to your binder once
Okay.
we get to that point.
Um,
So
Yeah.
the unanticipated funds.
Yep.
So
yeah, do we
Um,
move through these couple things pretty quickly so we can get to old business?
yeah, the unanticipated
Yeah.
funds shouldn't be I don't think there's going to be a
Yeah.
problem.
This one?
Oh, that's me.
That's number 6.
That's museums.
That's museum.
That's
Yeah, I know, but I'm just asking.
That's
if I-
under other.
Okay, that's
I think it's
another,
under,
okay.
is it? Where is it on?
That's after the staff.
I thought that was a
Oh, I'm
con-
sorry, that's after the staff gift holiday.
Yeah, I thought
so-
that was a contract thing,
Nope.
just,
Not a contract.
okay.
So the acceptance of unanticipated funds. I can certainly send this list to whoever is taking minutes, and if it's easier. So we have a number of things for the board to approve. This list I'm gonna give you right now is all under the Friends. So the Friends have made donations to the library, and I'll list them. They've made a $1,000 donation to purchase books for circulation, and the books that they are purchasing will have minimal processing. So these are books that we're purchasing second copies of that are popular, have a long wait list. They'll be processed minimally so that when the book is no longer super waitlisted or popular, we will take it out of circulation and give it to the Friends so that they can maybe resell it, use it in a raffle, whatever it is that they want to do. They belong to them. So that's what that donation is. We've been currently using that money to purchase books from Gibson's Bookstore. Which has been really nice. They've been a great bookstore to work with, by the way.
The Friends have been paying Gibson's directly.
Yes, so they pay them directly, and they will have a stamp, like a
Sticker of some kind.
No, a stamp that says Friends of Leech Library, so that we know that those books belong to them. So that's the first one. Then $275 for an annual pass to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. This was also paid directly to the museum. Another donation that they gave us was $200 that sponsored a second Scarecrow craft workshop by Ava Lynn Lane. She was the presenter. This was paid directly to the presenter.
And that was how much?
$200 even. There was also $400 that the Friends paid to sponsor the Granite State Ringers. They are coming in December.
What date?
December, Friday, December.
We can look it up for you. They're coming to do, and they also will pay the presenter directly. That's $400 to them. And then they also paid for $400 to sponsor a program called Encouraging Concepts Birth Order Program. That was also paid directly to the presenter. So all those donations were given by the Friends and have been added to the unanticipated funds list.
Friday, December 12th.
Thank you, Becca.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then we also had an additional donation by a patron by the name of Betsy McKinney. Excuse me. She donated. We had a need for an additional Nintendo Switch 2, the number 2, not 2 switches. It's just number 2. And because of the wait list on that, she purchased that for the library with a case so that we can circulate it to our patrons. I believe that cost was.
Can I jump in here? So the Switch 2 is a new model entirely, so it's not a wait list, it's
I apologize.
an updated version of the console.
There will be a wait list,
There was
probably.
There will be a
large,
wait list.
patron interest in it.
Yes, yes. That's why,
Got it.
yeah.
And I'm sorry, did I miss it? What was the cost?
I think that was, cause she ordered it from Amazon and sent it to us.
Okay.
So I don't know if we know the exact cost, but I believe,
$99.99.
It was $449.99 for the Switch, and I think it was $30 and change
Yeah.
for the case.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, she ordered it from Amazon and sent it to us.
Yeah.
We didn't even, and then she called me and said, it's on its way, I'll be there tomorrow. And I'm like,
Great.
what are you talking about?
Do we have a policy, will she be getting a thank you note or anything?
So yes, we do have a procedure for that. So I just wanted to point out, so that's all the unanticipated funds.
Okay.
Do you want to take a vote on
Yeah.
that and then discuss?
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept all the unanticipated funds under whatever RSA thing that they go under. Maura, question?
Maura, you have a question?
Yeah, what was the payment to the birth order speaker?
That was $400.
And is that workshop happened?
I believe it already has happened.
Yes. Full.
Maura?
I have another question. Was there any, so the Friends group, I know they sometimes pay some of the presenters themselves and stuff, and I'm seeing here that they're doing a lot of this direct payment.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question is, why are we being asked to approve it, number one? And number two, did anybody look into whether or not we can do something where we accept the payment for books and we give the books to the Friends?
If the Friends are buying them on their own, they belong to them. So.
Then why are we approving the funding?
So I'm just keeping you aware of the donations that have come in to purchase these items or pay for these programs. If the board is not interested in knowing what the Friends are purchasing, that's fine. But to cover other situations, I thought it would be necessary to bring, I didn't want to be accused of doing things behind the board's back, so I'm trying to be transparent.
And I think in order to be able to somehow equal out the stuff eventually about the number of programs we've had and the amount of money that's been spent, that's the meat and potatoes that has to happen here. It's just weird
Yeah.
to be able to be doing it this way. That's
Yeah,
all.
we should continue getting an accounting of all the things that they're donating to us, you know?
Okay, so am I being directed to do something differently?
No,
Okay,
Just,
Thank you.
it just does seem to, it seems just a little odd, that's all.
yeah,
Because it's not stuff that we actually had our hands in.
no, but it's
But
stuff that's
program
been.
that did happen here. so.
Right, there are things that affect the library services.
Mhm.
Do you want to vote on it, or do you not want to vote?
one more question. Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
I just am a little
Okay.
confused on what I'm supposed to be
No,
doing.
no, I know, no.
If that's clear.
We're just about there.
No.
My only question is that first group, okay, so they donate money to buy books, and then it gets stamped saying it came from the Friends.
Mhm.
So rather than, if people now, it doesn't go in the bookstore.
Nope.
It goes, okay,
It'll
wherever.
go back to the Friends. So the book will
Okay.
be processed and being able to be checked out like normal
Yes,
from our patrons. That's not
Yeah.
gonna change.
okay,
Once that wait list or that popularity of that book
yeah,
comes down and the 2 copies, or say, or maybe even 3 copies, we don't
Yeah.
know, are no longer needed, those books that they purchased will go back to them
Makes sense.
and allow them to use them as they wish.
Yeah,
What that is, I don't know. That's gonna be
Yeah.
up to the friends.
okay.
I just had thoughts, but.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Helen made a motion to accept the unanticipated funds. I don't know if anybody seconded it.
I think so.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Nancy Hendricks, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Marco, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, no.
Maura Ryan abstain.
Okay, the vote carries.
Thank you. You want me to move on to the next thing?
Yeah.
So, there was a discussion, and I've shared with the, members of the board that, I was asked, and I apologize again for this. I know I was asked months ago to put this together. However, as I stated in that email, that this was a much larger project than I anticipated due to the fact that there was no, digital or online documentation of any of this. So it took me a while to put it together, and I apologize for that. But I think going forward, we have a really great process in place, I think, and I think it'll be much easier to provide information when needed. So I put together binders. In these binders, they're broken up by fiscal year, and they will have a copy of the thank you letters that have been sent to the patrons that have donated. And then there will be a tracking sheet, which you all got, not all of you, yours is up here, Liz.
Oh, thank you.
I gave it to Jan and Liz, and anybody who wanted a copy, I would certainly share it with them. But I did send it all digitally to everybody, and these are basically gonna be the tracking sheets. So in these tracking sheets, it's gonna list the date that we received the donation, the amount of money, whether it was cash or check, and then what it was used for, or what it needs to be used for. And then, patron information, so it was name and address, and then when it was approved by the board, so that we knew that that money, the board was aware of it. And if that money was needed to be moved to the book account based on what it was earmarked for. And then, anything else added to it. For example, when the Friends send a check, it says, Friends paid directly to museum or presenter, or things like that. And then there's another column that says if a thank you note was sent to them. So we make sure that we follow up with all those things. I had sent an email in the past when I shared this list to Liz and Jan. I went back, the number of years I went back was 4 years for myself in my time here to do the tracking. And that was just because I don't know what happened prior to me with some of this stuff, and it was not all documented. So I do have the letters that were sent to these patrons, but I don't know aside from taking years to look through all the meeting minutes, which I don't think anybody wants me to waste my time doing. I just did the 4 years. So in these binders, there is for example, the list of donors and unanticipated funds. There's also, I included the trustee financial reports to go along with that fiscal year, so that anything it's all noted on those trustee reports, the treasurer reports, and then all the letters are with it. So hopefully, if there is information that's needed to be looking, it's all in one place. In doing that, I was able to discover that there was no money moved from the trustees account into the book account related to funds that were given by patrons for specific use of books or materials. And so I am asking the board to please move that amount of money from the trustee account into the book account so that it could be used to spend what these patrons and donors expected it to be spent on. So, if anybody has any questions, I'm certainly able to do that. And I did email the board, and I don't remember the amount. I apologize. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm sorry.
I think I have it.
I think it was over $3,000.
When did you send, which day?
I don't know the day.
I can't help you.
Sorry, I apologize. I did not bring that down.
Erin,
Yes.
I don't think, I would ask you to send that one report and the total amount that we should be putting into, back into the book, okay? I would just like all of the trustees to get that.
I thought I sent
Oh.
that piece to all the
Did
trustees.
they get, did everyone?
I believe
get
I
it?
did.
Jan has a
Does
question.
does it have the detail that you're just saying that it's gonna be in the the reporting? Because the part that we got didn't have that detail. It gave a name, it might have given a name, but it doesn't necessarily, the report that you just showed, yes.
It has
Okay.
everything that I gave you is exactly what's in here.
For,
Unanticipated.
For the donations.
Mhm.
When you said it was a book thing, here's the date it was, here's the,
Yeah, it's on these sheets that I sent you, and they're in your mailbox.
no, I have what you sent.
Oh.
I just don't feel that it's got the same kind of information. You've highlighted and said it was for books, but I don't have anything that said, oh, going back 4 years, this was for books.
Yeah, well, if you look in, for example, FY '24, November 2023, there was $200 given to the library. I unfortunately do not have the check number, but it does say library programming, and it was bought from a
Okay.
patron.
So that's programming.
Right. There's also, what's the second page for that one? But all the sheets that are in here are exactly what I gave you guys and sent you guys, so it has all the same information. I did not redact anything. That one doesn't have any books that were donated. Let me find one that does, because there was one that does. For let's see. So just for example, July of 2025, $300 was given to the library to purchase circulating materials on outdoorsmanship and environmental education for youth and families. That was actually given by Debbie, who's here right now.
And that was deposited directly with the town.
It was deposited into the trustees account.
Which trustees?
No, it was deposited directly into the town.
No, this was not. We do not
The
deposit.
one that was deposited to the town was the charitable foundation. That was for the summer programming.
Which is actually on this list as well.
It was deposited with the town.
It was not.
Okay, we have the data, it was a huge amount of work to it, and I appreciate that, okay? I think what we should do is review the data and at the next meeting, accept the amount that's gonna be transferred, okay?
Okay, I can certainly send that email
Does that
again
make
to the
sense,
full
Jan?
board.
That way we all have a chance to look at this.
I can certainly send that information again to the board.
Yes, Maura?
So I did read the information, and one of the things was that Justin sent out in July of 2025 that there was $4,800 roughly that went over to him and was put in the budget line. And I don't have a breakdown of all of that information, but one of them was that $300 for the outdoorsman.
No, that was
So-
not it.
It is in his email.
We have not brought any checks that patrons have given us over to finance.
I can follow up with, ask Justin what that means, but in July of 2025, we've received $2,500 for a summer reading that was given by an anonymous donor from the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation that the board approved at the July 9th meeting, and that was added to the town budget as deferred revenue.
Yes, because he quoted 4,800 plus, so I think we do need to ask him that.
I'm more than happy to follow up on him on that.
Yeah, because that was for summer programming, that was what it was supposed to be earmarked for, summer
Because the
programming.
deposits into the trustee account from July 1 until the 10/24 was the 1569, and that was all in cash. There was no check.
No, there were. I believe the payment that we're referring to, I deposited before I went out on leave in early July. So it would have been the last deposit that was done prior to moving bank accounts.
Okay, I think we need to work together to verify where the money came from, where it went, and then vote on it
Yes.
now when we
And-
have all the
And you
information.
know what else this speaks to, Madam Chair? This speaks to how imperative it is that we have current, consistent, accurate financial information.
So I guess, can we just repeat what you need from us in order to move forward?
Okay, you provided all the information, okay?
Yeah, so I can send
So-
those sheets out again. I sent them out as an email,
Well, everyone has these?
unless everybody has them, but I'm happy to attach them again.
Okay.
And then
Pretty sure I did.
with
We'll
the
just
amount that
review
is
them.
with the amount that I'm asking to be moved
Yes.
into, okay.
And just highlight somewhere, like a big red star at the beginning. This is one that's unaccounted for, that we're asking you to account for, okay? Because all of these.
They are.
They're all the ones in orange is what that's the budget. Those
Okay.
larger sheets, all
So
the ones in
all-
orange are
all
the
these
money that needs to be
orange?
moved into the book account.
All these
Yes.
orange?
Yep.
All these orange.
Yep.
Thank you for doing that.
That was.
I'm sorry that
Yes,
your
Jen?
time was spent looking for money that you needed.
It does not account for any money that was spent, like the 17,000 whatever that was spent for G-Milks.
Nope.
Nor any programs that were
Nope.
spent out of the trustee account.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm gonna go home and take a pill.
I'm sorry,
I
what?
said I'm going to go home and take a pill. I'm leaving. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you.
It's okay.
Okay. Do you, okay.
So, yeah,
we
we're
move
gonna
forward?
review this.
Okay,
Well,
so you
next
want that for
meeting.
the next meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna defer this. Sound good, Jen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Do you want me to continue to move forward or?
yes, yeah.
Okay, so the next thing on the list, I think, is the staff gift for the holidays. Normally around this time, we ask if the board would like to, make a purchase of, or in some way to give to the staff for the holidays. In the past, last year, for example, each of the staff received a $25 gift card, that I purchased and was reimbursed by the board to purchase those. I believe that came out to about $400. Prior to that, the board has also provided lunch for the staff, where I was, again, purchased it and obviously showed proof of payment and reimbursed. That budget, I think, was around up to $500, because of, the cost of food has gone up since that's happened.
Yes.
So we're just asking if the board would like to do anything for the staff for the holidays and what that would look like so that we can plan accordingly.
Well, I personally wanna do something, and, I'm thinking something, a gift certificate's not a bad idea, because then they get what they want. And, during the year, for special things, we've been supplying like a luncheon or something, you know what I mean? A couple of times I think we did we not? Okay, well, I guess,
So just so you know,
I
for
think
last year,
we
when I
should-
did the gift cards, I gave each staff a choice of 3 different gift cards that they could choose from. I think
Yeah.
it was Amazon, a grocery store, and then Target. Just to give them options of where that need for them would be most helpful. I think that if you're gonna do the gift card, I think that's a nice offer again, because some people may need that Market Basket gift card, especially this time right now, for their families or for whatever. So, if the gift card, I would like to then offer them those options
Yes.
again, but that's certainly a board decision.
the other thing is, I'd like to provide like a luncheon or something, but how do you do it for everyone, because they don't all work the same days and stuff,
So
what I mean?
what we've done in the past is we've purchased the lunch on I think it's a Thursday, where there's the most people here, and then if anybody was not here that day, they would enjoy it the next day. If they were not scheduled that day, we would still purchase it for them and
Okay.
include them, and then they would have it the next day,
Okay,
when they worked.
Yeah.
So, and then we would choose a location, I think prosciuttos.
Prosecco.
We've done Jano. I know that's not right. That's not the right word.
You're buying them wine?
Whoops, no, I did not buy them wine, it's on the record, I did not buy wine.
Definitely.
But we've done like Janie's, we've done, Rap City, those kind of things, so that people can choose what is comfortable for some, if people have allergies and things like that, we want them to be able to choose. So we've done things like that as well. So it'll be,
Jen?
I think this is kind of an odd thing to be discussing because, a month ago, we were given a vote of no confidence, so we're turning around and saying, we voted no confidence to you folks and all these things, and yet we still want you to give a gift. But that being aside, I would like to do something like maybe polo shirts for the library or something, so that it's a personal gift that could be used to do do
You
something
mean like
here.
the Leach Library?
Yeah,
T-shirt?
Leach library, not t-shirt, polo shirt.
You guys have the vests, so you did the vests a couple years ago,
Yeah,
right?
I did I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but I think at this time of year with what's going on with everything regarding food and everything like that, I do think a gift that can be used for what's best for the person would be more helpful. But
And I'd like to remind the board that a gift is a thank you for their effort, not a reflection of our bad performance as a board, which was the reason for the no confidence. Those are very separate things. These folks have worked diligently. They do things like catch mistakes and provide budgets and provide documentation. I'd like to say that Donna has been, again, so helpful throughout this entire process today. But we won't be seeing her appear at the next meeting because the board has declared her services no longer.
not officially.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
yeah, they're working on that. So I think we just need to start separating apples and oranges. We're talking about a gift to thank our dedicated team. Let's thank them, and not with a shirt that says, I work here, but with food.
Wait,
That's-
I'm
that's-
sorry, you said not with the shirts.
Yeah, I just,
And did you say but with food?
but with like a gift certificate,
Oh, you would-
food,
like-
like those,
Oh,
that
okay.
it meets
Like
a need,
A gift,
rather than,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
I like
Where
the
they
gift card
can-
idea.
yeah, go
And
ahead.
I still say it's not it's not a separate thing. It's still a communication issue, and it's an issue.
That we have not yet addressed.
Correct, but that's because it's not appropriate to address it because it's not even a thing that was.
Anyway,
But anyway, so it's
Thanks
just,
to
you know, just like, I just don't go onto Facebook and put the stuff out there.
Can we table this and maybe think about if there are any other ideas we might want to bring forward?
That's not my choice, it's up to the
I don't
board.
think that like a 1 month delay would be, because that would bring us into October, we still have
No,
plenty of
no,
time.
no,
that would bring us into
Oh,
December.
into November.
We're
Yeah, we're in November.
Oh,
That would bring
God.
us to December.
Yeah, no, we gotta decide now, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, thank you, I've been away a while.
Time flies.
I like the idea of the gift cards and give people a choice. I think it just makes the most sense. So I would make a motion that we give Erin $25 per employee and allow her to choose cards for certain places that they can choose from.
If you want, what you did last year, just to make it easier, you did up to a certain amount.
Okay.
Not that that would change anything, but it would just put the dollar amount
Up
on
to
the
400,
total,
yeah.
and if that's helpful for the board.
That would be helpful.
So I think it was up to, what did we say, 400? Because it was 25 times 16. Or 16. 400.
Okay. I make a motion that we provide Erin up to $400 to buy gift cards for the staff for the holidays.
second,
Roll call, let's start with Laura.
Is 400 enough?
That's $25 times 16 employees.
Isn't it 19?
We don't have 19 employees.
We have positions for 18, but we don't have 2 people right now.
The page and the children's librarian are not filled.
Yes.
Can we bump that up a little bit to $30? Because $25 last year is probably more than $30 this year. You know,
buy a Happy Meal.
what do you guys think about that?
I would support that.
I'm fine with that too.
Okay, can we,
That would be 480 total.
480. So why don't we say up to
That'd be what?
$500?
480 total.
I'll amend my motion then for up to $500. Beth, do you still second it?
I do.
Okay.
okay, roll call, Maura?
Yes.
Jan McLaughlin, no.
Beth Marco, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
So is it acceptable for the board that I purchase those and then I will give Jan the receipts?
The receipt,
Okay.
yes. Mhm.
Thank you very much for that generous offer.
All right. Museum pass.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to? I think there's
Yes.
a lot of talking. You can do
So we last year implemented what we called a rotating museum pass or limited time museum pass. so that we could offer more experiential learning opportunities year to year by having one that changes every year. So last year or actually this year I guess, we offered Strawberry Bank in Portsmouth, and I think people really enjoyed having that opportunity. We spent $300 on that pass, so we looked at a range of about $300 for another pass this coming year, which hopefully would start in January. When we actually looked at options, we found that price-wise, we could actually potentially get two. And the two that we're suggesting are the Springfield Museums Pass, which would cover 5 museums actually. And there are pictures of them on one of your sheets. So it covers the Amazing World of Dr. Seuss Museum, which was the main thing that we were looking for, to be honest. The George Walter Vincent Smith Art Museum, the Springfield Science Museum, the D'Amour Museum of Fine Arts, and the Lyman and Mary Wood Museum of Springfield History. So patrons could choose whichever one they want to go to with their pass. The discount that's given is buy one full admission and receive the second admission at 50% discount. And the pass can be used for up to 6 people during the visit. And then the second museum is the Eric Carle Museum of Picture Book Art. And I will say that we looked up the distance between these museums, and it is about 30 minutes. So someone could potentially take both passes for a day trip. And they're, I think, both very well themed for kids and families. The Eric Carle Museum Pass is $150, so in total the 2 passes would be $325. And the Eric Carle Museum gives a free admission for up to 2 adults and 4 children. So that is our
I have a question. Yes, these are the museums you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. So
that's for one pass.
Plus Eric Carle.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
and are they in New Hampshire?
No, they're both in Massachusetts.
They're in Mass, yeah.
Although a lot of our passes are in Massachusetts, like a lot of Boston area attractions. And we frequently get requests for passes even further than, like, we've gotten requests for Connecticut places, to be honest.
Crazy.
So I don't think, and our patrons honestly love to travel. So I really don't see.
They'll be attracted to these.
There's a lot out there too. There's a lot. There's
Yes.
the Basketball Hall of Fame is there.
Yeah. They can really make an experience.
Six Flags is out there. There's a
You know,
lot.
also Dr. Seuss and Eric Carle, both children's authors, so I think this speaks to a literature themed museum experience.
Well, it sounds, I like the idea of the museum passes, and I think it's really important that libraries participate in programs like that.
I think it's good to see if people are interested too.
Yeah.
Take advantage of it. What did you say the dollar amount was going to be again?
So in total,
Yeah.
both of them is $325.
$325.
I make a motion that we spend the $325 to get those 2 passes. Anyone want to second it?
Second, sorry.
Okay.
Maura?
Yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Beth Barker, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Okay. So traditionally, we'll fill out the application, and Jan will be requesting checks for those 2 museums.
Okay.
Or, no,
I'm sorry, was the intention for it to be paid out of the trustees account? No.
okay, sorry, I'm mixing up my
It will be
request.
paid out of the town budget.
Sorry.
I didn't specify
request. My apologies.
I think it's back to us now.
I think, I was just checking this.
Yeah. So if you go to bylaws, I went through after we did our last 17th time that we went through it, and I think I made every change that we talked about so that we are ready, and we kind of conditionally agreed that we were good to go on it after our last meeting. Am I recalling this correctly? Okay.
Yeah, we do.
So we should be ready to vote and accept this. And if you find any errors in it later, let me know. We can always fix it, right? But it would just be good to move this along. Donna?
So I just want to be clear, because Beth brought it up earlier, that approving this tonight does mean that as of Your next meeting, I would not be attending as a paid staff member. If you approve it the way it is right now.
I don't know if you wanna make a motion and then discussion, or if you're willing to accept discussion now.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I would advocate again for Donna to be at the meetings or another staff member at the meetings. I would speak to the fact that the town manager, and what I've been told by the town manager, is that him and I are on that same level, right? He answers to the town council, I answer to the board of trustees. The town manager doesn't know everything that's happening in each of his departments. So he has a head of Public Works, Dave Wally, who will come to those meetings and speak to projects that are working on or speak to things. He has a chief of police who does the same thing. Fire department does the same thing. Library does the same thing. I think by not having Donna here to kind of speak on certain things or to assist me would slow processes and procedures and even votes down. I think having Donna here is very important, and I do believe that if Donna can't attend, to have another department head to assist me in running the meeting and planning the meeting. This is a big job. This is a full, when I come in on a board day, it is all board. It is all of that, preparing, making sure we have notes, making sure we have information in order to provide to you guys in order to make the decisions you need to make. And I think having an additional person here would be helpful. So I would please advocate again to please remove that piece from this bylaws so that I can have an additional staff member here. This is not an unusual situation. I've spoken to many libraries, both in Massachusetts and here in New Hampshire. This is a normal process for boards to have directors to have additional staff with. That is my request and plea.
Discussion, anything, questions?
If we make the change, we have to wait another 10 days.
No.
Yep, has to be 10 days.
I personally don't want to defer this anymore.
Oh, I'd rather have Donna here. I'd rather wait 100 days.
So we're actually waiting 30 more days to get this in.
You have a meeting scheduled on the 19th.
I'm sorry,
That's a
say
meeting
that?
with the attorney.
It might not be.
Yeah, that'd be
more.
That was discussed in non-public.
Yeah, that's not
My
an
apologies.
open session.
It was just on the calendar.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I
But thank you,
Help,
yeah,
attention.
thank you, yeah.
My struggle with this is just because it looks like the board wants to approve it, or it feels like the board wants to approve it as is, so that it's less inconvenient for them.
Yep.
And I don't agree with that. I think if you wanna do something right, and you wanna, and you agree with the processes, you should wait the time and do it right. But I don't think it's fair, it's just because we don't wanna wait, we'll just agree with it, and then I think there'll be situations where it will be a delay in many things by not having Donna here or another staff member here.
I feel like the board already put so much strain on you in so many ways. And now to suggest that you have to now be the keeper of all the information and have it at the ready in your brain for meetings that run from 7 p.m. to midnight potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is quite unfair of us.
I also think that it is, as I've felt with many things, that this is setting me up to fail.
Yep.
There will be a moment where I will not have the information, not based on not being prepared, but just based on that's maybe Donna's expertise or Megan's expertise or Jen's expertise. And because I don't have that information or answer a question that I wasn't expected to answer, it'll be a mark against me, and then I have failed. That's what if I'm gonna be honest, that's what it feels like.
I think, and this is only my opinion, that for now, we should remove that statement. We can put it in at any time. I would like it to, we have 2 board members missing now.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see a full board here voting on something like that. So what I'm suggesting is, remove that one caveat, and vote this in. We've been working on this since January, okay? It's now November. I just think we need to get it in And it's a living document, and it's gonna continue to be a living document, and at any other time, we can bring it up again, and let's get a whole board at that time getting involved with that. But that's only my suggestion, okay?
Anyone wanna make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we table this bylaws approval for the next meeting with a discussion around removing the clause to discontinue Donna's participation in board meetings.
Okay, which is not, so it's opposite of what I said.
Ah.
Okay, that's fine, you made
Yeah,
a
I don't know.
motion. Do we have a second on that?
Yeah, I was just gonna read to you what we had, can I read
Go
what
ahead,
it
yes.
actually says in
Yeah,
here
go
now,
ahead.
just so we're all
Mhm.
clear, 'cause we
Yeah.
Alright, so if I'm in the right part, right, in the,
What?
regular meeting section,
Yeah.
number 1.3, the library director may attend, except during non-public sessions when it would be inappropriate. Other library staff may attend when invited to do so by the chairperson for a specific reason. That's how it was decided,
By the chairperson or what?
for a specific reason.
Oh,
Like
for a
if-
specific reason.
That's the current, the June 6th? Or is that?
That was from what we decided at 10,
That's the new-
10:08.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the
Thank-
one that Erin
It's
is asking
That
us
was
to
it.
remove that one last line, I guess, or,
There was
Well,
there
it
was
was-
a directive that the board had put on Donna
Yeah.
to revise her job description. So that.
Where she doesn't attend the meeting.
Yeah.
It originally, if I went back around the version, it originally said the assistant director would attend.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're discussing.
Yeah, so I think we run the risk of, at the, invitation of the chair, we run the risk of Donna not being invited.
okay, well, you've made your motion,
Yeah.
which is
Awesome.
that we table this for another.
I second Beth's motion.
Liz Thomas, no.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Beth Morocco, yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes.
Maura Ryan, no.
And Jan, you said yes?
Yes, she did.
Okay, this is now put to bed for another 30 days.
Okay. Jan, do you have some financial documents you'd like to share with us?
Sure. Such fun to make all the other stuff that's been on top of them, but.
Jan, may I mention just before you start that if I go back to the July 9th meeting, it was discussed, and I think that was the one Erin wasn't here for, right, July 9th? And originally, you and I and Megan and Donna were gonna sit and kind of go through some of these things. And we got sidelined by other things, including the job descriptions for hiring the open positions, and then Donna was out and things got shifted. But there originally was an attempt, I think, to talk out amongst us what was already in place. But I know that you're, have feelings very strongly about making sure we are doing certain things.
Mhm.
So that's all I just want to say.
So I put items on your, beside your packets. The first one is the treasurer's report from July 1st to October 30th. This looks like this. It's a 2-page document on yours. Mine has 2 separate pages. But that's what it looks like, the 2 pages.
So is this an actual report or is this just a draft, like what it would potentially look like?
It's an actual report. If you need more information, you let me know. But that's the information, what's in each of the 2 accounts and how much is in all of the accounts. Yep.
Why is the address for
Town hall.
town hall? And it's not the correct address for town hall?
Okay,
It's 268 feet.
But why wouldn't it be for the library?
I just copied it down there. Because we had it sent there. We talked about that in a meeting,
What's being sent there?
the
Financials from the bank.
the
The
bank
bank
account.
statements are being
The
sent there?
bank statements are being in the town hall, in the trustees box.
Okay, so because we're not getting them, we are not going to be putting together the treasurer's report, is that my understanding? That's gonna be something Jan's gonna be doing.
Sure.
Sure or yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I do believe, so what's on the agenda is financial procedures.
Mm-hmm.
This is not on the agenda, so I believe this needs to be posted again.
No, I'm sorry, this is a financial procedure.
This is
It's
a
not.
report.
This has
This
not
is
been
a-
posted to the public.
This is a report that has not been shared with the public.
This was not on the agenda.
Unfortunately, Jan didn't share these things with us ahead of time. They didn't make
This is
it
the
back
first
yet.
time we're seeing all of these documents. So there's been no, I'm sorry, Jan?
I said it's not all of them because you've seen the donation ones since February, which is why the document that you now have that lists some of the donations actually has the different forms that it has, because that was what we gave you in February.
That was what was verbally recommended to me, but these documents, to be honest, aside from the treasurer's report, I would have appreciated sitting down and going over with them, because we have our own procedures and policies that we follow, or not procedures and policies, but procedures that we follow, that some of this is kind of redundant, and we could have had a conversation about it completely. For me, it's just frustrating that you're creating stuff around, you don't even know what our actual procedures are yet.
So, okay, so the donation ones we've been talking about since February.
Mm-hmm.
The first time, I don't think it was the first time it was proposed, but it's been written out since February. So,
The board did not approve it.
That nothing was approved by none of the documents that you've
I-
been sharing have been approved by the board.
I understand that.
Okay.
So this was the opportunity was to go through the policies, not the procedures, and to establish the procedures as a procedure. So that was the reason for the.
Again, I want to interrupt here because my understanding is that you guys decided you don't have to follow what the treasurer asked you to do for accounting, okay? It's because it wasn't voted on by the board, okay? There's two things here. We have policies and we have procedures, okay? If it's a policy, it needs to be voted by the whole board. If it's a procedure that the trustee who's the treasurer needs information from you guys and you refuse to supply it, and we assumed you were following the process, but then she was told the board has not voted on it, so we're not doing it, okay? That's where I have an objection. That is not a policy, it's a procedure. It's a procedure. She needed to do her job, and she wasn't able to do it because you refused to provide her the information. Yes?
May I speak to that?
Yes.
So you're right. I didn't do any of the things that Jan has asked us to do. Because none of this, in my opinion, even the procedures should be brought to the board so that they're aware of what we're doing here with these documents. If this is the first time you have all seen these documents, how this is the first time I'm seeing the documents, how am I supposed to know how to follow these? I personally, this is where I think my frustrations come from, is that at no point when she created these did she ask me how it's done already. How do you do this already? What are you doing? You know, what are you doing with this? What are you doing with that? At no point did she give me the opportunity to sit down with her and go over these. I could have worked together with her on these so that we could create a document that's both useful for her, for me, and follows the law, and for my staff. At no point have I given the opportunity to even train my staff on these documents because I don't know how to fill them out, or when to hand them in, or who to hand them in. Do I scan them? Do I submit this to town hall, to the finance? Do I submit it to Jan? I don't know any of that. There's been no procedure around it. It's not that I don't want to follow it. It's just I want to be involved in the process so that I can explain that to my staff. These documents do not give me the opportunity to do that. I don't know why I was not included in that process. When my staff and I do these things, or would like to do these things, and I was not included. When you have someone who's created documents, and I speak to any of the board members who have no idea how we do the things here, who have no idea how we collect donations, or how we collect money at the desk, or when we hand that over, or when we take it out of the desk, put it in the lockbox. None of that was asked of me, or none of that. And again, this has happened a number of times where things were assumed that someone would just come to me and ask me. I would have been happy to have that conversation. I would have been happy to sit down with you and go over how we do things. How did we get the T-shirt sales? When did that come up? That's a Friends thing. That has nothing to do with the board. That's Friends.
The money goes into the board, into the library. So it
That's
goes
Friends
into the
money.
library. I understand, but the money comes into the library.
What money? So again, these are conversations.
Whatever the sales happen, there's money that goes into the library. How it needs to be kept separate. That's important. That it needs to be
Which
kept
we do.
separate.
It is, and then the board accepts it under unanticipated funds like we did this evening.
All
It's
I'm saying
accounted
is
for.
that it would have been nice to be included in a conversation and a discussion to work together to create these forms and procedures. And
I
don't
understand that.
why
but
I was
we've-
not.
Since February, we've been discussing that. Let's use the donation policy as an example. You said your people are too busy to record the donations and to collect the information and to write that down that way that we requested it back in February as we requested, because that's what we were told to request, or what we needed to have for the Secretary of State's for the charitable fund folks. So we needed to have the background information that supported what goes on the summary fund for the donations. And you said, they're too busy, we can't do that. And then you said, I'm gonna be working on it, I'll start working on it. Well, that was in February, and now, fast forward to now, and now we have the book, and you're doing some of them. Of course, we're still not doing the physical things like books that don't get donated, the boxes of books or whatever, but at least part of it's being done, which is great. But we did discuss it because you said at a board meeting that you would not do it, or that you're just too busy, your staff is too busy to do that. Same thing about counting the money, counting the money. The money should be counted at each place, should be counted at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, because that's what you do with money. You count at the beginning and the end. You shouldn't have a jug of money sitting there. I understand it's Friends money, but it's still a jug of money that's sitting there open. And it shouldn't be sitting there open because that's just asking for trouble. Either for someone to decide that they've got a lunch that they forgot money for, or for somebody to knock it over or something. So I have no problem if you want to discuss these, but very few of these things are new.
We have discussed these things ad nauseum, and the board has said this is just overkill or it's duplication.
The board has not said
We
that.
have absolutely not said that.
The board
We
has
have
not said
nev-
that.
You have said over management a million times. The board as a whole
This
has
is
not
just
agreed on that.
so silly. Like, we have real things to do, and we're worried about a giant jug that weighs like 50 pounds with an opening big enough for a quarter. We're worried that someone's taking money out of it. Like, this is just.
That may not be your concern.
This
The
is
money
just
that goes in and out of the library
Well, none
is
of-
my concern.
None of these documents were made available ahead of time. We'll have to post them the right way. And
We had these documents have been.
They were just.
Some of the, well, wait a
No,
second,
they
some of
were
the
not suggestions.
some of the contracts.
They were given as procedures in
This is
February, in
just-
January
this
and
is all new.
February, and they have not been followed
Some of the
at all.
contracts we got today. So we didn't repost those, we made a decision on them. So I don't see that there's a big difference. I have no problem if you want to just push it off another month, but
I have a problem.
don't be saying that there hasn't been, Jan hasn't done any work.
You have not provided any treasury reports from you. We've had Colleen taking care of us.
Because
have not
she
had-
she has had the total responsibility of all that.
No, we
Yes,
haven't.
she has.
You're the-
She has. You, Beth, are not the one. You are the one who's posting stuff. Oh, all
Jan,
these
I
things
know
are.
it bothers you, but
It
I'm
does
talking
because
about-
you're talking crap.
I'm talking
You're
about
talking
your
crap.
duties as
Okay,
treasurer.
let's,
Crap.
I'm sorry, right, let's interrupt.
You're not going to
Okay.
be, you know.
This is not new. This is something that's been going on for months. We've been passing these
No,
policies
these are
out.
new documents.
No one has.
No, they are
Never
not.
seen them.
I'm sorry, may I continue? You had an objection to accounting for the books that were
And
donated,
donations.
okay?
Can I speak?
And we worked with you on that, and we said, you don't have to have the titles and stuff, you need to have a total amount of books that were donated during a certain
Or a
period of
box.
time.
Can I speak to that?
Go ahead.
I will follow what the board wants me to do, but I would ask that these be reviewed with me so that I can come to the meeting and say, yep, Jan and I worked on these documents, this is gonna work for my staff procedural wise, we'll be able to do this, or maybe come up with a different way. When it came to the donations, I reached out to the Attorney General's office. I have the email that says that she does not want that information. So I'm sharing that information with you because, just so you know, that they don't want that information. Now, if you want me to do it anyways, as a board, that's fine. But as an Attorney General, so I have the email that speaks to that. She specifically said, because I asked her, do I need to count every book that comes into the library as a donation? And she said, no, she does not want that information.
She does not need that information.
So,
We need that information.
so that's why I think you need to clarify that it's not, I don't think it's law, it's more of information that you want,
Not law.
which is different than what you've been saying all this time. So, it's fine if the board wants that information, but, and keep in mind, I will say it again, my staff does not have time to count every book that comes into the library. And what happens to the
talking
books
about
that go
counting
into
every
the, excuse me?
I wasn't saying count every book, but go ahead.
But see, that's the problem. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with these documents. I don't know. And so you're handing to me, and maybe it's not the first time, and that's fine, but you're handing them to me, and I didn't know back then what I was supposed to do with these documents. I would like more clarity on the expectation of what needs to be done so that I can do it correctly. Because again, I feel like I'm being set up to fail, where I've been giving documents I'm supposed to follow with no guidance or procedure, with no discussion. Why wasn't I included in the discussion in these documents when they were first created? Or when they were created again? Why wasn't I?
Because we haven't had the time to do that.
But,
Well, then, but now
Can
you're
I
gonna approve
interject?
them with,
But-
Okay.
Can
But,
I
you
interject
know-
for a minute? Can I interject for a minute?
Yep.
So respectfully, if I go back in time, one of the issues was when we first brought them up, they were like, oh, we have some of these procedures already in place, right? And there was a little bit of pushback about, well, we kind of already do these things this way. And that would have been the time to have the conversation about it. And in the summer, and everything gets pushed off every time, we attempted to do that, and then it got blown up again. So we're back here again. Can we agree to come to a place where we're gonna work together on it? Because if we're gonna say it has to be done a certain way, then that has to be communicated in a timely manner. So if they ask for information, we have to get it to them. If we can't do it, you, me, whoever, we have to let them do it then. Because they're the ones doing it here every day. And I really think that's important.
When we gave out these procedures, okay, if you didn't understand or want to know how, what our expectations were, you should have asked us, rather than just blowing it off and say, oh,
No,
yeah, the
but-
board as a whole didn't vote on it, so we're not going to follow.
She never gave these out. They were talked about in vague measures.
No,
No,
They
we had,
were-
they've been in different.
we had pages for each thing.
but they showed up at a meeting, which, again, not posted, they showed up again, just like they did tonight, on the table. All I'm asking is for me to be involved in these kind of things, so that I can inform my staff. I'm gonna go to the staff, if this was approved tonight, I show up tomorrow with these things, and I'm gonna have a million questions from my staff that I will not be able to answer. And we're supposed to start this tomorrow? I don't think that's fair. All I'm asking is to be involved in the conversation when procedures and policies are created that I'm expected to follow and my staff is expected to follow. That's all I'm asking. And I was not involved in any of this. I was not asked of it. I was not asked of how they're done now. Nothing. Why? I'm just asking, why wasn't I included in the conversation of these documents?
Do you value her input?
Well, first of all, let's talk about fair, okay? Let's talk about one thing, the books, okay? We said we needed an accounting of the books that were donated. You do realize that when books are donated, that belongs to the board, not to the library, not to the Friends. When they're donated, they belong to the board, okay? We have very few sources of money to keep the board money running, okay? One of the sources of money is books that are donated and sold, $1 a hard copy, 50 cents a paperback out of the library, okay, so, out of the bookstore. So you said, I can't account, we're not gonna count for all of, the titles and everything. I said, fine, give us a total of how many books are donated on a monthly basis, okay? We have never seen that. What we have seen, and what we've been told from the Friends of the Library who run the bookstore, is that cases of books that belong to us have been given away by Erin to her friend John, who sells them on eBay.
All right.
Okay,
Did anybody ask me about that?
I absolutely did ask
When did you
that.
ask me?
I
In
asked
the-
you
in that meeting,
2 months ago.
In that meeting where Jan was present and we were discussing,
I was present.
yes, Megan was present. That's the first time it was brought up to me. When you listened to someone who I don't even know who it was, who told you that. Instead of, right after that person told you that, why didn't you reach out to me and ask me about it?
I did, and you said you do it. You
Yes.
said, but I'm not the
So-
only one who does it. There's there's several libraries in the area
So
that
I
are doing
explained
it.
to you, yes, that I do it. In fact, I got that name from, at the time, it was the Derry Public Library Director, because we are inundated with donations, and a majority of our donations are not acceptable to be put on the shelves and sold to our patrons. And so what are our options to do with it? When the 2 dumpsters out back are full, what do we do with it? We get in trouble for having it stacked up in our library because it's unsafe. So what do I do with it? What are my options? I need the board to tell me what the options
Your
are.
options, not to throw away our property.
So
without
what do
us
I do
doing
with
it.
them? So what do I do
day
with
and
it?
fill
I'm
up
not
your
allowed to
car.
put them in the dumpster because they don't want us to fill up the recycling bins with the books. What do I do with the boxes of donations that are literally garbage? What do I do with them?
In your opinion, they're garbage.
Liz, you can come here every day and fill up your car with the books, and then it's on you.
So do I wait for a board member to come in and review those books to whether they're acceptable or not? Or am I allowed to do that? Or is my staff allowed to do
Well,
that?
obviously, they're not garbage because John makes money on it. He said he sells them on eBay. So
Who
they're
spoke
not
to John?
garbage.
Who spoke to John?
A friend of the library,
Maria?
and you already admitted that yes, they go out to John.
Yeah,
and
and
other
he takes
people-
them. I don't know what he does with them, but he does. That way, I don't have to deal with them. But what do I do with them if I'm not giving them to John and they're piling up in my library where it's unsafe for my staff to walk around? What do I do with them?
Well, first of all, it's not your library; it's the town's
Oh, my
library.
goodness.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
I apologize.
first.
I misspoke. What do I
Yes,
do with them
okay.
in this town's library where my
And
staff
again,
works?
have you ever come to us and said, "I have these library books, and what can we do with them?" Have we even seen them?
I thought it would be
No.
acceptable for me as a director to be able to make the decision on how to move forward with these books.
Trash
I've never
books.
had this, never in my life have I had to ask the board, what do I do with donations? Never in my life.
I'm sorry, you sit down, we're not having public comment, okay?
You're not running the meeting, Helen's running the meeting, so I was just gonna ask her if I have direct input on this, because I've been in charge of donations for the last 20 years. If you have a care to ask.
Right now, I'm sorry, this is a board discussion right now.
You don't have authority over this because Helen is running the meeting.
Jen,
I think things have gotten a little too heated tonight, and I would like to take a trustees whatever it is, exemption or whatever, and move this to the next meeting in December. And between then and now, I will try and communicate those items that we've already communicated, but I'll try and communicate them again to find out the other process.
Helen,
please-
do you
can we
wanna
please-
call this meeting?
Can we please, well, we have more to discuss, and I think we should hear what Donna has to say, if that's acceptable by the Helen.
Yeah, and we just have a couple other loops I wanna make sure we tie up. Donna, quick.
Okay, so your gift policy that you adopted and accepted specifically states that you've given the power to the director to decide what to do with discarded materials. So you have already given her the power to make decisions. So if you want to take that back, you need to revise that policy. But she has done nothing wrong because you have already given her the okay to do that.
I didn't say that she did anything wrong. I just said we did
Liz
discuss
did.
it. We did discuss it at a meeting, and we have discussed it at a meeting with Aaron. But that's beside the point. I would like to do a trustees exemption or whatever
Yeah,
and move
the
it to the next,
conversation
But I was
is
the
done.
next meeting.
I was not finished
Can
yet.
Donna please?
I was
finish?
asking that I'm asking you, Jan. You said you're going to give us communication, but I don't want an email with your instructions. I want to have a sit-down meeting with you where you have scheduled a time with me because you show that you respect my time or Aaron's, and you actually review those documents with us. And
I am at the library
I'm not
on
done
Fridays.
yet. I'm not done yet, and I've been recognized by the chair. I want a appointment scheduled where we actually review those documents and you hear us out as to what's already being done so that the forms are not duplicative of our work. Because that is what was asked of you and Helen as of the July 9th meeting that has not happened. That's my request.
Great.
I would second that.
I'm here on Friday mornings, and I will be happy to discuss it on Friday mornings.
That doesn't mean
I am
I'm
not
available on
I
Friday.
am not a full-time employee. In fact, I'm not an employee at all. And I am spending more and more time doing.
1 minute.
No, I'm
sorry.
spending more and more time doing trustee crap, and then being blamed
That's
for
your
not.
job.
Excuse me.
It's not
Then I'm being blamed for not doing those things. And so I'm just saying, we've been discussing them. We can put them off. We can have a discussion on here Friday mornings. If this Friday morning doesn't work, we can do it the next Friday morning. But Friday mornings is the time I've designated to come to the library to do, to get things to deposit in the bank and to discuss any other things with people in the library.
So we can email you
Okay.
a specific time on a Friday morning.
Yes,
And make that an appointment.
yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Donna.
Let's move on.
Okay. Erin, what were the other two things that we said were gonna be under other? I apologize, I can't remember right now.
I have them written down right here. My folders, here they are. So the first thing is we have had a request from a patron. In fact, this came twice. The first time it was emailed to the board on It was emailed to the board on June 2nd by a patron who was asking the Leach Library if they would, and we've gotten these requests before, but this is the one that I've seen in writing. Actually, there's two in writing. Asking the board if this person was inquiring if they can use the free book vouchers that we give out, that the board has approved that we are allowed to give out at like summer reading and things of that nature. They use those book vouchers that if they could, they wanted to be able to purchase, in this case in June, they wanted to be able to purchase 13 of them to give to teachers and bus drivers as part of an end of year gift. When this person emailed, Liz responded to not only myself, Donna, and the whole board, and to this patron saying, "Hi, I will get you an answer to your question as soon as possible and respond with you in a few days." I don't know if that ever happened. But then we recently got a new request. This was sent in October, and actually Megan fielded this request because the patron, I believe, came in, if I'm correct. But she emailed me to remind me if I could bring this to the board. We have another patron who has asked if she could purchase, again, those book sale vouchers to give to her daughter's birthday goodie bag. She would need them on November 8th. And could the board, if they would be interested in doing this, she wanted me to ask the board if they would be interested in doing this, and also if there's a possibility if that's something that we can offer going forward without the board approval. I think this is a great idea. This is a great way for patrons to come into our library and use the library and get those free books at the book sale. But again, it's up to the board.
I love that idea.
I hate that idea. We just discussed our only thing of
People are
income.
buying them.
She said purchase.
Can I clarify?
She's willing to
No,
purchase them.
No, I'm sorry, you need to sit down, okay?
I think,
Maybe we misunderstand totally.
I think
What
she's talking
exactly
about
is
wanting
it?
to pay.
It's
Of
meant
a
to be a
gift
gift
certificate.
certificate
A
that's
gift
purchased, so that you would
Yeah.
get the revenue from it.
yeah,
The board would get the revenue.
Yeah.
So it's like you're purchasing a gift certificate to the bookstore.
that's fine.
That somebody would buy it from here and give it to
Okay,
somebody else so that
and-
they could get the book.
Okay, I will admit, I totally misunderstood. I thought they wanted us to give them a voucher for, 10 books from the bookstore. And then let's start doing that regularly.
No.
Okay,
No,
so
that's not what I
this-
said.
Okay, so I apologize, and I agree that that is a viable thing. Either way, it moves the books and plus gives us some income. So I think that's a great idea, okay?
So I would
But,
like the board
that's
to
only my
officially vote on
opinion.
it.
Yeah, no, I think it's.
I make a motion to make book vouchers available for purchase.
The only question I have is, how much, but also, how are you gonna make them so they're just not, I can go copy more.
They could anyway.
I know, but I'm
They
just.
should do that now.
I know, but you just have to, so.
Basically, they would
What's
buy
that?
a $5 gift certificate.
Megan, we
right?
could have a staff member, for example, Megan, since she's in charge of circulation, initial
Yes, I know.
those book vouchers. So if they come in as a photocopy, maybe that would be a little more obvious. We can, or punch a hole in them. I don't know. We could figure out a way to make that so that they can't make photocopies of them so easily.
Right, I'll second that.
Do we have the only discussion would be for what is the charge for a book voucher?
The most expensive item in the book sale, correct me if I'm wrong, is $1.
So if we charged $1 each for each book voucher,
So they wouldn't be able to be used for the sets that are in
they are not
in
available
the
now to
lobby.
be used for the special sale.
Okay. So
They
just
cannot
would
use the
stay
book
that.
vouchers in any way on the special sale anyways.
Okay.
So people can buy them for $1 each.
Mhm.
Okay.
If that's approved
Yeah.
approved by the
All right,
board.
Beth?
Is it better doing it that way or having a certificate for $5 worth of
No.
books?
No,
Just
because
keep it easy. They've
they're
already
talking
got
about
book
giving one,
passes.
About what?
my understanding was they were talking about giving, one per person or,
This
maybe they'd
this
give
particular
multiple
person
ones.
wants to include them in a goodie bag at her daughter's birthday party.
Yeah.
So I think just having the simple ones, I mean, we can even create different ones that are specific for ones that are purchased.
Right.
So that it's separated from the.
Why don't we see how this
free-
goes, and then we
Yeah.
could reevaluate tweaking it in the future. So Beth has a motion, I seconded. Moira.
I'm sorry, what was the
To sell,
procedure?
to sell the.
To sell
the
vouchers, but it
for
didn't.
$1 each. And that Megan would help us come up with a system so we could track them, so we would know that people were just using them once.
Okay, and then if they want a covered book, they get one. If they want softback, they get two, right?
No, the book voucher is only good for
It's
one
good
book.
for one.
Whether
okay.
it's hard,
So
they're
whatever
only, they're only paying the highest amount, which is a
Okay.
hardcover.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm also with that, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Moira,
Do you want to put a time limit on your motion?
time limit tonight?
To
How long?
to reevaluate
Sure.
I think
whether or not we want
why?
to continue.
It's free money.
Well, I think just in case we wanted to tweak, how about till February?
Okay.
Okay. Moira, would you like to vote yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Jan McLaughlin, yes?
Beth Morocco, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
And just to, before we're doing a trial period?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Liz Thomas, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I have one more thing under other. I had emailed the board, I only got one response, so I'm hoping you all saw the email. I'm asking the board, it's in your packet, I've included a proposal. It's in the packet, this is from the paperclip that was on your table today. In the packet is a proposal to put in a food pantry down here in the lower level. So in my proposal, and I'm hoping you all read it, so I don't have to read the whole thing. During this time when people's SNAP benefits are, people dealing with food insecurity are being, not being able to purchase items that are needed. I'm hoping that we as a library and the community can come together and provide them with a space where we can have a small food pantry where things would be donated to the library, and we would kind of oversee. The positives of this is that, from what I understand, there's only one food pantry officially here in Londonderry, and that is, I believe, down the street. We are open more hours. I'm sorry?
There's St. Jude's as well as the Methodist Church.
Oh, so there's two. We would be open more hours than some of those locations, allowing for more convenient access for people. We would provide almost as much as a private space as we can for those families to access. And the parameters around this is that the food collection would only be non-perishable food, only with the addition of like hygiene products such as shampoo, toothpaste, and feminine products of that nature. I would take this responsibility on myself, and certainly I'm sure I would have staff that would step up and help, because that's the kind of staff I have, is that we would be monitoring it, watching over who is accessing the noticing people going downstairs is something that we automatically do anyways. And that I would make sure, I'm sure along with my staff, would help keep it neat and clean. And then we would collect those food donations and bring them down to the shelving unit that I'm gonna be asking for to kind of neat and tidy. Or down the line, as once we get this in a more kind of organized fashion, we can create a volunteer kind of list and have people volunteer to assist in that process, and then would take it away from my staff, which is fine. In my proposal, I also asked for some supplies that would be needed. I would be asking for 2 shelving units that I could get off Amazon. Those shelving units are, I did look up specifically for like food storage. They're very sturdy, so like canned goods and stuff would be acceptable as far as weight on there. We would also be we get a lot of these donations anyways, these are Hannaford to-go bags, which people can use to take some items home with them. And then, obviously, I would need to have food to put into the pantry at some point. So, some things to consider. How long would this be happening? So I gave you 3 options. 1, to only have the pantry go from now till after the holidays, and we could set a date on when that would end. 2, to only have the pantry go from now till summer. Again, we could set a date. Or 3, have no end date on it now, and we could just base it off the need of the community. It would start as soon as possible, or as soon as I can get the supplies. And future ideas that we could use for this space could also be adding school supplies or pet supplies, and really make it a community kind of area. I know other libraries that already do this, and it's very successful, and it's very well received by the community. I do think this would be a great opportunity for the Leach Library to offer something that is not offered by any other town department. With that said, Donna and I have a meeting with the town manager that we were invited to, related to kind of these needs, along with many others, to see how the community can come together to provide some of these resources. We would be on, I think we're on a Zoom call with other organizations in town and other people. So just to give you some stats, Londonderry, 2.20% of Londonderry is enrolled in the SNAP program. That's about over 580 people. Derry is double that. They have 4.4%. That's about over 1,500 people. I think this, personally, I think this would be a very good thing for the library to do and to support. Yes, there are many places in town like New Hampshire Food Bank and things like that, but when you're talking about a person who maybe can't go that distance or go to those locations, this is a local stop for them. We do have the local, it's not Hart, it's Cart, I always do that, bus that stops here, so making it a convenient location. So I'm asking the board tonight with my proposal, I'm asking the board for $300. That would be to purchase the shelving, which is $76.99, which is included in my proposal, along with, if the board would allow, for me to purchase items to start the pantry. And I'm talking canned goods, mac and cheese, and things like that. So in that folder also, we created a flyer, and I thank Kelly, who's in the audience, who created this flyer, to kind of share with patrons if the board approved. And due to the generosity of the person who created our original logo, they also created a logo for the food pantry. So we can really make it something that is a stop for our patrons that need it. So I'm asking for the board to approve the food pantry and the finances to go along with it.
Where would you set the pantry?
So it would be down at the bottom of these stairs here. We would move some of the seating away from that area and put up the shelving down in this area.
Okay, so this room is still available for
Absolutely,
the community?
100%. And it's on tile floor, so if there happens to be a spill or a mistake or something like, easy cleanup, which I don't anticipate happening. I think it would be a very, we would ask for no glass jars, things of that nature, to keep it as safe as possible.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the proposal. Oh,
sorry, Jan had her hand up.
So before, I think it was last meeting or the meeting before, we discussed about there was a problem with rodents. And so my concern would be this might be something that could increase that issue.
So we still have the service with pest control. And there have been, according to them, there have been no sightings of the traps that are in the library. That's an issue. And because this would be on top, I'm hoping, well, I guess the shelving they could still climb on, but we haven't had any sightings that I'm aware of in the library of rodents. But we have food in here all the time based on programming or kind of snacks and treats that we have upstairs, and I haven't seen anything, but that doesn't mean it can't happen, certainly. But it would be something that we can keep an eye on.
I think it's a great idea. I think we should do a pilot. And so I would say through the holidays, now is the time we need to really press to get food in and food out to people who need it for the holidays. So I would suggest that we at least do a 3-month pilot, okay? The other thing is I would like to include the Friends of the Library to help run the food pantry. Yes.
So I've already talked to the Friends about this, and they are willing to contribute some funds to assist in setting it up or stocking it. I don't know if, I haven't approached the idea of them assisting with it, but I think that could go along with volunteers. I feel right now I'd like to just set it up just with myself and any staff who is willing to assist. And then as we find it to be, after that pilot, we can explore the idea of volunteers. I don't want to set up volunteers for something that could end. I'd rather wait to see if it's going to continue, and then we can do a call out for volunteers specifically for that need, because there may be people who want to specifically help with that option. So if it's okay, if the board approves the trial run through the holidays, and we can put a date on that, at that point, if they'd like to continue, then we can reach out to volunteers that will specifically start running that.
Will this be available only certain hours of the
It would be available anytime the library is open.
Okay, and you feel like you have the staff right now that someone can go downstairs and...
I feel that this is so important right now that I would make myself available to do it if my staff could not. Okay. I feel very strongly about this project, and I feel that it could be a great help to the community and those in need. And I will dedicate my time to make sure that it takes place, along with my other duties.
And specifically, what exactly, other than the permission to do that, what exactly financially do you need to?
So as I had said, I'm asking for the board for essentially 2 votes. 1, to allow me to set up the food pantry and allow us to have it here. And then 2, the $300 that will fund the shelving that I need for the pantry, which are 2 large shelves, and as well as maybe stocking it with some beginner, just starter food and items. And I would use the difference of that, the $300, after buying the shelves, to purchase those items.
Okay. Discussion, questions?
I just wanted to make a motion to accept the proposal for the library food pantry and the allocation of $300 from the trustee funds, and for it to pilot this program through the end of, should we say January or February?
That would be fine with me, because if I'm able to start it, I mean, it's only gonna be 2 months at that point, so if that's unacceptable, we can say January 31st.
I'll second it.
Laura?
Yes.
Roll call?
Yes.
Jan McLaughlin, yes?
Beth Michael, yes.
Helen Palmieri, yes.
Liz Thomas, yes. So
Thank
you
you.
can get that going as soon as possible.
Thank you very much for
I have a
that support.
question. Will you have some area upstairs where people can donate?
Yes, so we will be accepting donations, and then patrons can donate to, so this will be communicated out to patrons, obviously, but if anybody wants to make a donation to the food pantry by Foodwise, or supplies, I would take that, and then I would, again, if one of my staff members does wanna help, we would stock the shelf, so we would bring it down for that patron. And we
Could
would,
we possibly share that out to the schools too, if they want?
Yes, I'd be happy to do
collecting?
that. Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Yep, and we would, and we could even put out, a box or something to collect as needed, but.
Okay, awesome.
So I will, so just so you know, since this has been approved, I will be sharing this with our meeting with the town manager, so that to let them know that will be another location that, people can come to.
Thank you very much for putting the time into this.
Thank
This
you.
is very important.
Thank you for your support.
And again, I wanna thank you. You guys have, you put a lot of thought, Donna, you've put a lot of thought into programs that, and what cost for the different programs and stuff, which I appreciate. Erin, you've shown that you are looking at each individual employee and judging their strengths and stuff, and you're working and trying to build the strength of your librarians, okay, which I appreciate.
I have an amazing staff, and each of them have amazing qualities and things to bring to this library. And I hope, I appreciate that you see that, and I hope others can see that as well. They are extremely valuable and important, and I will value any time and opportunity I can to speak to that.
And last, I wanna say that you're bringing forward this idea. This is an innovative thing. As the director, you're showing how we can serve the community, which is very important. And so you had the vision to do this, and I want to recognize that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay, when it comes to the personnel policy, I think we need to get together with our staff and talk about that. So I think we need to pull a little subcommittee together with our staff, make a few discussion points before we can close that out, but I think we can get that rolling.
So we've deferred the personnel policy and the bylaws.
Yep, I'll reach
And
out.
hopefully we'll get that groundwork all done this month, and then hopefully for Christmas we can have a new policies.
And our next official meeting, as of right now, is December the 3rd. There is some other things we're working on.
So do you want me to take, because I think we put on the calendar, as Megan had mentioned, kind of like a hold on that room on this room for the 19th?
Do you mind if we just check in with that other person and
Sure.
we'll get back to you?
If you could just let me know as soon as
tomorrow.
possible, so that we can make sure that room, if it's not being
Yep.
used, it's available for
Yes.
anybody else who wants to.
And plus we had a second day, a third day, we have a third date now, right?
Yeah, we have to look at that over.
Yeah, so we have, 2 more dates besides the meeting date that we'll get to you as soon as possible, okay?
Jan?
One of the other items or not other items, but one of the other things in the community is they're doing the 68 hours of hunger to work, to be able to send backpacks home with the kids on Fridays, so the kids can have food available for them for the weekend. So that's kind of another area that maybe it doesn't come as part of the food pantry, but we do have kids in our schools that are going hungry on weekends because they don't have food provided. So just a thought, it's kind of just, maybe there's some link that could be done with that.
So to my knowledge, and I'll find out more on Friday, I believe Cheerston over at Town Hall is working on a area on the town website that will have links to locations and options for people to look for resources, whether, I think it might include more than just food, it might be heat and things of that nature. So once that live, we'll certainly share that as well.
And are the folks still doing a meal here once a week, or that?
Heaven's Kitchen, to my knowledge, yes. And they update us as those dates change or adjust. They do update, send us flyers, and I make sure that we have copies printed out in the community area. But that's certainly something that we can certainly add to the food pantry, informative information like that.
Okay, I'm gonna entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Wait, before we do close out,
Yes.
I just had a question.
Yeah.
I noticed on the schedule that for Thanksgiving week, you have the library set to close early at 5 on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to bring that forward so we could vote on it.
It's already on the schedule.
We've never, so in the past, we've never voted on that before. That was set in place by different boards. So we generally, that day, and then the Friday after Thanksgiving, we've always been closed. And the day before Thanksgiving and New Year's and Christmas. Megan, do you want to speak to that? You've been here the longest.
If I may, so it's not a day that we've ever had, like, it's not technically a holiday, there's no holiday pay for that, it's just closing early at 5 o'clock, because it's the day, so people can travel to Thanksgiving places and things like that. That was the intent, and it's been in that way since I started. So for that, in the holidays list, the day before Christmas and New Year's, it's a half day, so we're open half of our hours that day. And then the day after Thanksgiving was added in the 2012, based on the holidays of once the union dissolved, and we went with the non-representative policy for the most part, and followed those holidays from the towns were copying them. So
Okay,
that's the history.
All those dates are in the personnel file.
Not
Nothing-
not the Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving. We've traditionally closed at 5, but it's not considered a holiday, so it's not something that is there. It's just something that we've traditionally done for at least the last 20 years. I don't know if there was an official ruling anywhere. It's not really written down, but the idea was so that people could travel if they needed for the holiday.
And I would like to note that no staff, staff schedules are adjusted for these dates.
Yeah.
So anything like that, there's not additional pay, there's not additional comp time, there's not additional anything, staff schedules are adjusted. But if the board wants to vote on it now, I don't know what that looks like because it's already on the schedule, but it might be something to bring up to maybe add to the personnel policy maybe, or add as a vote. That's certainly up to the board.
Can we review that and then when we do the personnel policy next month?
I think it would be a good idea to vote on that because it's not in the personnel. The Wednesday at 5 is not in the personnel policy. I understand it's on the schedule, but I think those issues need to be communicated to the board, and I think we need to vote on them.
Okay, that one I think we should vote on because, that way. Because then if we introduce something new next month, we're gonna say, oh, well, it can't go into effect yet because, it hasn't been, published for 10 days or whatever. So let's.
That day is just a couple of weeks away and those schedules have already been made. So I think if we want to talk about it, it would be for the next calendar year. They're already so short-staffed as it is. And we're talking about revising their staffing schedules. Like, don't we have a better use of their time? Who's coming to the library?
I'm not suggesting that we're going to make the change. We just want to open the conversation.
Yeah, I think it applies to the next calendar year because the schedule's already written.
But some folks may want to come to the library on Wednesday because they don't have the option to come on Thursday or Friday.
But we are open till 5 that day.
Yeah.
So we're not closing that day, we're just open till 5. And I would like to say that this is not, I don't think it's fair that this has been classified as like a situation. This is something that's been in place for over 20 years that I don't think you know, it's coming up as if it's, I've done something against the board without asking the board. This is something that's been in place for a long time, so I'm fine if the board wants to discuss it and going forward, maybe having more of a set understanding, that's totally fine with me, and so that the conversation is done and then we know that that's what happens year after year. But I don't think it's fair that this is something that's, feels again, that I've done something behind the board's back. This is something that's been in place way before me.
It wasn't an issue last year.
No.
I think it's too late to adjust it now. I think
Well,
it's.
But I think we should do an official vote to.
So are
affirm.
we're all gonna support it though, 5 o'clock is good?
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah,
okay,
that's all
because
she
as long
wants.
as we're just gonna make sure, so.
She wants a confirmation,
So
that's all
I'll
she
make a
wants.
motion that we make sure that that it's all clear that the library's closing at 5 o'clock on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Second.
Okay?
I, Liz Thomas.
I, Helen Palmieri.
Yes, Beth Moreau.
I, Jan McLaughlin.
I'm Maura Ryan.
Okay, thanks.
And just make sure you post it, you know, in advance so people know.
It's already been posted.
Good, great,
Okay.
yeah.
And I made a motion to adjourn and Beth seconded, I think.
I, Liz Thomas.
I, Helen Palmieri.
Yes, Beth Moreau.
I, Jan McLaughlin.
I'm Maura Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
11:41.